the comfort of a pool, or would you rather actually be at the game in Vegas?
I mean, a little mixture of both. I mean, if I'm there for 5 days, I can do the pool 4 days. I can do the baseball game one afternoon or one evening, day game or night. But it looks, it's got the big glass there that's like the stadium that you love in Minneapolis.
Minnesota,
yeah. And then that's the scoreboard there through the roof there. It's I would imagine the green coloring there has helped to see fly balls, so it's not the white top. So,
do you think if
very interesting,
you brought back some spectators in Yankee Stadium in the late 20s and you put them in that? I mean, would it be like being in a science fiction movie?
They would see that and think to themselves, "Where's that baseball happening? The Jetsons TV show, the cartoon."
But you know what's crazy is like
me and my boy Elroy, you going to go to the game?
We grew up watching like the old footage on Home Run Derby when like Ernie Banks is taking on like Joe DiMaggio. And I don't know. And now to see these stadiums, nothing like surprises me from SoFi to what you're seeing in Vegas now.
Conspiracy theories out there. Not one British tabloid has posted the picture that TMZ first posted. It's now been posted by and put on television by ABC and Fox and others in the United States. This photo, the first scene of Kate Middleton, the Duchess over in England, many people are believing now that was a person who is not Kate Middleton, that they had a body double so that she would be seen in public. So much so there was a tweet that said, "We've got clearer, better pictures from Pluto than we have of that picture of Kate Middleton."
She is a very familiar face. I don't know if you guys would give me that. Like, I think if you went to Alabama and Auburn's campus, you probably could find a Kate Middleton lookalike.
I could say that's Katie Holmes.
Yeah,
that could be Katie Holmes.
Yeah, like big sunglasses, dark hair, nice girl next door look.
Yep. So this is, you're right, Daniel, this is the tea sippers across the pond, their version of DeMar Hamlin.
So is she going to be in the mix for Comeback Royal of the Year?
Comeback Royal of the Year. Absolutely. That's a great line, LT. Usually you don't go cheesy. I like that. It was really good.
That was very cheesy.
Yeah, but I like it. I like it a lot. All right. Bama loses. Some concern about where Alabama basketball is now. For some of you not so worried. Auburn with a win last night. Big one with Tennessee and South Carolina. Do you have a play at LancesLog.com on that game?
I do not. I do have a play in the SEC tonight, though.
Okay, Vandy, Kentucky's another one of those
Mississippi
games.
State, Texas A&M, we've got a play on that one.
Okay, LancesLog.com for that one. Since you don't have a play on it, give me a feel. Tennessee, South Carolina.
I think it'll be around the number. I think Tennessee wins, but I think they win the game anywhere from 4 to 8.
Yeah, I think Tennessee wins the game. What's the number? Have you seen it?
It's like 5.5.
5.5. Tennessee, easy win there. Run them out of the gym at South Carolina tonight and basically lock up the SEC championship. We're back with you tomorrow, 9 a.m. Central Time. Thanks to everybody who's been with us. Who's one guy on the show tomorrow? Oh, we get Matt Moscona joins us from Louisiana, LSU on the field. How important it is for LSU football to get it right this year with the expanded SEC. That and more tomorrow on the show. Until next time, God bless you and God bless America.
Every day, someone is ridiculed and mocked for the clothing they chose to wear. It's a harsh reality we all must face. But you have the chance to change all of that with one visit to nextround.store. For just a few minutes of browsing, you will observe so many clothing options, from hats to hoodies to t-shirts. Please, for yourself or someone you love, go to nextround.store and embrace the warmth of true attire.
Take the next round anywhere you go with official Next Round gear. Buy yours today at nextround.store. Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now. All
right, we're live today. Tennessee's your SEC champions. In fact, Forrester, right off the bat here, the great Taylor Corn graphic that was viral everywhere on all of our social media platforms. Can you just pull it up? We were checking a 5-way tie for the SEC. It started with Alabama losing at Florida. Put a big check mark by that. Green, yes. Auburn beating Missouri, yes. I had said all along, I think the only one that goes wrong was Tennessee and South Carolina. And there, Tennessee beat South Carolina. Needed South Carolina to win that one.
You almost landmined it, though. I mean, the Vols up 14 in the second half. Yes. Here comes the Gamecocks. They cut it to 3 with a buck and change. And this is what's going to separate a lot of teams, that it always does once we get to the tournament in March. And this is another reason why teams like Alabama and Auburn have fighting shots, because they can hit the free throws.
That's right. Free throws are so – I mean, I get tired of watching free throws.
I do, too.
I mean, that but Alabama was fouling the other night against Florida. I was talking to a guy on the golf course yesterday. I just don't want to watch 40 of 45 free throws. And I said, I don't either. Problem was, Alabama was fouling them, sending them to the free throw line. They were legitimately fouls.
71 free throws taken in the Alabama-Florida game. 71 free throws in 40 minutes is a ton of free throws. But if you can make your free throws, which Tennessee doesn't make their free throws last night. They made 7 in that buck and 14 seconds. They don't make those free throws. There's a chance South Carolina pulls the upset, but congratulations to Rick Barnes. Big accomplishment. And for me, for the Vols to win their first outright Southeastern Conference championship regular season in 6 years, that's a little surprising.
Yeah.
Like, if you had to tell me who is the best program over the last 6 years, and really subjective, but who would that team be for you?
I would choose it between Tennessee, Auburn, and Alabama. And Tennessee would be in the conversation for sure.
Yeah. One team you didn't mention,
Kentucky.
Yeah,
Kentucky. But they're coming on right now at the perfect time. They got those rings up in Knoxville. Congratulations to them. We'll hear from Rick Barnes later on in the locker room. We'll get to that. I did not intend to start the show with basketball because we do that so much when Alabama and Auburn starts. But I wanted to drop that in there, that Tennessee was your SEC champions. And now we're playing for one more weekend, and then we'll get to the SEC tournament up in Nashville. We'll have you covered at Next Round Live on all of our social media platforms throughout the rest of basketball season, so stay in touch there. And right now, circle watching the selection show with us. We haven't finalized the details, but our in-pencil plan right now is to be in studio right here as the bracket is revealed. And like we did the college football playoff selection show, where we'll all be up here hanging out and doing a show while it's on CBS. While CBS is releasing the bracket, we'll be reacting to it. So you can, on your multiple TVs and devices, have us up at the same time. Selection Sunday, a week from this Sunday.
Yeah.
Do you know the first year that they started broadcasting the selection show? Because it's on this day in history.
Yeah, okay, so I remember being all in the second year, I think, or the third year it went to a 64-team format. And from that moment on, when the Sunday selection show would come out, and at that point, I think it was more CBS than ESPN.
Hey, as a kid, I planned my day around it. I love the selection show. I still love it.
Because the first thing I would do is do all the brackets, and then I would immediately do my bracket.
Yeah.
I am going to say the first time they revealed the show was 1986.
It was 1982 was the first time, on this day in 1982. But I think it was around then that it expanded eventually to the 64.
Yeah, I think 85 was the first year of the 64, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, so 82 on this day in history, the first selection show. It's a week from Sunday. Auburn and Alabama will be a part of that. We'll talk bracketology and all that coming up. But congratulations, Tennessee. You're the SEC champions. Something in the orange this year. Zach Bryan's song there. All right, let's get into a little college football. We got Clint Lamb on the show. He covers Alabama. He'll be with us at 10:25. Interesting position change possibly going on the Alabama defense. We'll talk to Clint about that. He'll explain it to us and everything he's gotten from 2 days of practice viewing and some reaction, both positive and negative, about the atmosphere in practice now, including music. And later in the show, Matt Moscona joins us at 11:10 from down in Baton Rouge and Louisiana. He's heard all over the great state of Louisiana. He'll be with us to talk LSU football. I personally think it's a very interesting year for LSU because they're one of the elites in the SEC. Here comes Texas and Oklahoma. I think there will be a lot of teams right now remember the old Oklahoma land rush? Perfectly portrayed by Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman in Far and Away. I think that's the right movie.
I don't know if they were in Oklahoma, were they?
Well, no, say you're Far and Away. I was giving you credit for the
Far and
title.
Away is where they came over from Ireland and they were trying to get their plot of land.
But
and
I think it was the
bare
Oklahoma
knuckles.
land rush, right?
Well, it might have been.
Damn it, Shannon. The only thing I remember.
saw the movie.
I was wanting the quote. You got
It was an awful movie.
Love that movie.
Of course you did.
Far Away is an awful movie.
I thought it was an awful movie.
Give me a Rotten Tomatoes, Lunsford, on Far and
I would
Away.
say that Far and Away probably got a 62%. I'm pretty good at Rotten Tomatoes, just guessing on the cuff.
So you go 62% on Rotten Tomatoes?
Yep.
50 even?
50.
Is that people or is that critics? Critics? They don't like anything. Tell me what the people thought.
That's not true.
Hot Nicole Kidman.
69% like this movie. Okay, Metacritic 49%, Rotten Tomatoes 50%, IMDb 6.6 out of 10.
Yeah. To me, it was about
Classic.
a 55 to 60. Of course, you loved it.
Loved
you say,
it.
yeah, the audience score. The audience score is the ones that trudge through Walmart.
And I give Dunaway credit. Tom Joseph and his landlord's daughter Shannon travel from Ireland to America in hopes of claiming free land in Oklahoma.
Yep.
Wow.
So he gets on a horse.
You never get movies right. You must have seen this one how many times?
5 or 6. I may have owned it VHS back in the day.
That would be like the Malcolm McDowell Clockwork Orange torture scene where he's got to watch videos of violence at the end where they pry his eyes open with the toothpicks.
I had no
If
idea.
you did that, Far and Away would be one of the films that I would not want you to put me on.
What year did it come out? Because I feel like
92.
Maggie and I saw it. What time?
92, but also I didn't know it was directed and written by Ron Howard.
Oh, how about that?
Wow.
Yeah, we had some, that's funny that Ron Howard celebrated a birthday last week. We talked about Ron Howard and his career, and we mentioned a million films, and you never brought up Far and Away.
Goose, the audience score is what counts. I didn't know he did it. I don't look at that kind of stuff. I just enjoy the entertainment value of movies. Just early in our dating and marriage, the "Damn it, Shannon" quote, I just dropped it all the time on Maggie.
Yeah.
Damn it, Shannon. I'm out. He'd go fighting. He'd go fist fighting to
bare
earn money
knuckle.
to keep them moving forward.
Hey, only so many things. He couldn't be like an underwater diver back then. You were getting to Goose. The audience score is what counts. Critics aren't in touch with people. I think it's kind of a combination. Like I do defer more towards the critics, but when you get a critics and audience score that kind of matches up.
Well, see,
You're a critics guy. You like things.
I like things that I like.
Yeah, but you're a critics guy.
The quote that I heard from Roger Ebert when he reviews films, he said was interesting to me. He says, like, when I'm reviewing a film, people think that if I give 2 thumbs up to Steel by Shaq, he's like, I'm not going into that film thinking the best writing ever. I'm just trying to be entertained. That's what I'm basing it on. I'm not basing it on everything else that people think, well, how could you give Saving Private Ryan 1 thumbs up and you give Mortal Kombat 2? That doesn't make sense.
No, that's what it should be.
Yeah.
It should
so
be.
He goes, I go into it in a different light instead of like saying they're not the same films that I'm reviewing.
That's me. Like if I go to, there is this downtown on the street hot dog vendor in Nashville, Tennessee, and they got some of the most unique hot dogs at 2 a.m. you could ever imagine.
Okay.
And going to a really nice steakhouse like Kane Prime in Nashville, well, you're probably going to get the better meal when you're paying a couple $100s for a nice Wagyu filet and a bottle of wine. But to me, it's almost, the score would almost be the same because of what I'm getting on the street at that time and how unique it is. So I go in with the open mindset too.
That's why
I want to be entertained, and I like what I like.
a movie critic such as John Lunsford, who is obsessed with thesis and theories on Fast and the Furious. Case in point.
Yeah, but very popular with people.
Yeah, but I'm saying like it's not like a movie snob thing where like I only watch the things that are subtitles and everything. He likes car crashes too.
Yeah, but I thought Fast and Furious was horrible.
Yeah, some of them were good. I don't like crashes and bang them up. But anyway, Oklahoma land grab. I feel like that's what's happening with LSU. Full circle back to what started this. LSU football, a lot of teams in the SEC. Oklahoma land rush trying to stake their claim in the pecking order of the SEC in football. And we'll talk to Matt Moscona about that coming up at 11:10 Central Time as we get going on the show today that is being brought to you by our friends with the Birmingham Squadron basketball this weekend, our professional league, G League team, the Squadron having a great year. They're at it this weekend. March the 8th coming up. That's tomorrow night down at Legacy Arena. It is Health Care Appreciation Night. So many great healthcare workers here in the Birmingham metro area. They are honoring you tomorrow night. 1,000 T-shirts to the first 1,000 fans there. The halftime show is the Amazing Grace Good. Is there, the Amazing Grace Good. Get your tickets, birminghamsquadron.com, or by calling them at 205-719-0850, 719-0850. And then on Sunday, 3 o'clock afternoon tip, it is Youth Sports Day with them. A giveaway will include a Commander growth chart where you get the mascot growth chart so you can track how tall you're getting. First 1,000 fans into that get that, plus GameStop PS5 giveaway, all happening with the Squadron on Sunday for Youth Sports Day. All that this weekend, Legacy Arena, birminghamsquadron.com, birminghamsquadron.com. Rockstar, I need cut 5 and 6 because we're going to start with a little college football here. You have Lane Kiffin yesterday doing a little news conference as Ole Miss cranks up spring practice. And I want you to listen to Lane because he did something yesterday. We talked about it briefly. He hired Zach Arnett, the former head coach and defensive coordinator at rival Mississippi State. He's going to be an analyst. I think that's an A+ smart move from a coach.
I do too. I just wonder if it's more of Lane making a smart move, or is it more Lane a dig at the school across the state?
It could be both.
Yeah, could be.
Could be both.
I mean, but as far as a guy that really knows defense and a guy that really wants to reset himself in Zach Arnett, and it was such a unique hire, I thought immediately from Mike Leach to get this guy from San Diego State. And Zach Arnett's a hell of a defense coordinator. We talked about this yesterday, so I do think it is a good get for Ole Miss.
And you got Pete Golding already, who's a good recruiter and a defensive coordinator. That's a pretty good defensive combination there. A couple of good young defensive minds there in Ole Miss. William Vallejos, former Alabama center, great guy, moving up the coaching circles, also joins Lane's staff as an analyst yesterday. He's been killing it in the portal and everything. I think Lane's making some really good moves, and he sounds like a coach this time of year, talking about just how good his roster is over in Oxford, Mississippi.
Like I told our guys, I think that, well, I know this, we have a really good roster. I understand there's a lot of kind of preseason hype around it, all that stuff, but that doesn't mean we're a good team just because we have a good roster. We would have our roster would certainly look like the best one since we've been here, probably by far, because you have so many returning pieces from last year, and then these additions of other pieces that a number of have been starters at other places and been really good players. So it's a really good roster, which you guys will talk a lot about, but that does not mean we're a good team. It's a lot of work. That's a lot of culture building for that to happen, because you guys have all seen in this sport or different sports these really good rosters put together in the off season, whether that's the NBA or NFL, and does not always translate to wins.
Yeah, that's a great point right there, because on paper he has made one big portal move after another, and it looks good on paper. Doesn't mean they'll win any more football games. Starts with the fact that you get a quarterback back. You got some great defensive players, defensive minds and coaches there.
Yeah, Quinshon Judkins is a loss.
It is.
Yeah. I mean, he, is one of the best running backs.
But didn't they bring in a running back, too, that's pretty darn good?
And
I can't remember. They still have the kid from TCU, Bentley.
Ulysses Bentley.
Who is getting more carries this year. And I think they brought in another kid that is pretty good.
The thing is, though, Lane Kiffin, sooner or later, is going to have to win big games. He's 3-15 against top 10 teams.
I have a feeling that this will be the year you'll end up having to stop using that stat. Do we have the Ole Miss schedule?
Hey, you know what? If it's not, then this will be the year that you stop defending Lane Kiffin. Is that fair?
That'll be fair. We'll look at the Ole Miss schedule. You tell me where the big games are.
He is. If you gave Kalen DeBoer this schedule, I think you could book Alabama in a college football playoff. If Ole Miss doesn't not only get to a college football playoff, if they don't play for the SEC championship with this schedule, they will never play for the SEC championship.
There is a chance that Georgia Southern's the toughest game in the first four. Furman, Middle Tennessee at home. They go to Wake Forest. We'll see what that team looks like. And then Georgia Southern home. Then they get to the SEC. Kentucky, not easy, but at home. At South Carolina. Then they get to some big boy football. At LSU, home to Oklahoma. Then they are at Arkansas. Then they host Georgia. At Florida, Mississippi State. The only one you actually say they definitely are going to likely lose is the Georgia game, right?
I would say LSU, too. I would say the return game. It was a great game last year. They were able to win that game, one possession game in Oxford. I think LSU probably returns the favor. They should be on that 10-2. Not having to play for the SEC championship game, which puts them in the top 12 probably, which puts them in a 12-team playoff. But Lane Kiffin, in my opinion, will find another loss, maybe at Florida, with a desperate Florida Gator team. Of course, at that point, Florida might have an interim coach. Who knows?
So if you said playoff or not for Ole Miss?
Just based on his history, based on their history, that schedule is the most doable, manageable schedule in today's SEC world. I'm going to say no.
So it's a manageable schedule, but still say no because of Lane's history.
Well, because not a Lane, you combo the history with Ole Miss and Lane. I mean, you go back, it wasn't on his watch when Hugh Freeze had a team that all you've got to do is stop a team on 4th and 1,000, whatever it was, when Hunter Henry literally, I just wish we could watch that play again. It is one of the most miraculous plays outside of like the band running on the field, kick six. When you throw a ball over your head and it hits turf and bounces perfectly into the only guy that actually could get a first down in Alex Collins, and he's able to just get to the stick. Then they score a touchdown, and you've still got to get the 2-point conversion.
It is amazing that we don't see that as much as we see the band on the field or something. It is a more amazing play than the band on the field.
Well, it's got to be, and we've never really talked to anybody about this, but if you're an Ole Miss fan, it's got to be the most disappointing play in the history of Ole Miss football.
We talked to Hugh Freeze about it. We asked him about it at last year's Regions in our Coca-Cola interview room. And I think he said he's gone back and watched it before, but he doesn't do it a lot.
Well, it's. I mean, if you're an Ole Miss fan, just knowing that play gets you to Atlanta for the first time in the history of that program. So I just, unfortunately, look, there are jinxed organizations, though. We saw the Cubs win a World Series. I mean, different organizations turn these things around, but until I see it, I mean, that's when I'll believe it.
Here's one thing I love about Lane yesterday. Nobody has benefited more. I won't say nobody, but one of the things that Ole Miss and Lane has benefited from has been the portal and NIL. But the portal has been good to Lane. He talked about that yesterday, very honest about where portal and NIL are in college football, but how it's helped Ole Miss out.
There was a system that NCAA put in place. I said, in the SEC meetings, college football in regards to the portal NIL is a disaster. Now you got to worry about losing all your guys multiple times, twice a year is what it is, until they figure out some semblance of a system that would model professional sports. And these would be employees and they would have real contracts and everybody would know. Until then, you just have this. And I know it sounds strange because I would take this out of it. I'm the first to admit Ole Miss, as much as anybody, benefits from the transfer portal and the system. And I'm telling you, even with that, how much it helps us personally, it is a disaster. And it got worse. So it is what it is. We'll just always continue to adjust as they continue to make the system worse.
Lane Kiffin yesterday as they crank up spring football.
So do you believe this is a team that will be in the college football playoff?
I do believe this team will be in the college football playoff, starting with the fact that they got Jackson Dart back. And I don't know where you put Jackson Dart in SEC quarterbacks this year.
Well, I think right now he's probably a top 3 or 4. I think he's probably a top 10 coming back in college football. So I like Jackson Dart a lot. I've always been on the record saying that. The schedule is manageable. But if you put Ole Miss in, I think we agree the max the SEC is getting is 4, right?
I think 4 is the maximum number, yes.
Okay, so if that's the case, If you give one spot to Ole Miss,
Georgia, Texas.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to go on and book that, then you've got one spot for LSU, Alabama, Missouri, Tennessee, Auburn. I mean, that's where it gets really difficult.
Well, I think it's Georgia, Texas. Ole Miss schedule helps, but I think the other two is the fight where you got Ole Miss, Alabama, and the others fighting for 2 spots. Find it hard to believe Georgia or Texas with their roster will not find a 10-2 in them or better.
Okay, well, I think Georgia is bookable. Texas, I'll reserve judgment. I think they've got a ton coming back. They should be there. But again, Sarkisian won 10 games for the first time in his career last year. So he's going to have to do it in back-to-back years. So I still have more confidence. Boy, Alabama's schedule is just brutal. Like if you flipped Alabama's schedule and Ole Miss, would you not say Alabama is in?
Ooh, yes. I think we could have rolled over there and coached that team with Ole Miss's schedule, with that roster, and get them to the playoffs. So there you go. That's Ole Miss yesterday. Good stuff from Lane Kiffin on the portal getting us started. Odie's last night trivia. What was the question that you guys threw out there, LT?
Oh, since neither one of you guys were there, and by the way, shout out to Lee Haver, did a great job throwing out rockstar questions, manning the music, everything involved there. It was a lot of fun. We had a really, really good turnout last night. But the question was, what came first, Shaquille O'Neal or The Godfather?
Godfather was 72 or 72. So I'll say Godfather. No, I'll say Shaq came first.
I'm going to say Godfather 72, Shaq 73.
Okay, I told you guys yesterday on the show it was Shaquille's birthday, born in 72, 52 years old. He was born March 6th. The Godfather premiered March 24th of 1972. So Shaquille, by just a couple of weeks and change. The things you learn at Odie's Team Trivia. We do it every Wednesday night, the original location in Crestline. But get out to either location. Enjoy this great weather. It's going to be spring-like today. You can sit out on the patio, eat some of that incredible food from Rodney Davis. He's been doing it for more than 30 years. Award-winning wings, delicious burgers, great sandwiches like that Diablo sandwich, ice-cold beer buckets full of the Bud Light. Live music every Friday and Saturday night. 2 locations. The one we were at last night, the original in Crestline. One in Homewood now. Go see Will Aver and that great staff, Odie Staff.
All right. Before LT talks to us about the Sports Betting Alliance and everything going on in Montgomery, I did want to point out something that came yesterday. Peyton Manning and Omaha Productions has made an overture, showing some interest in hiring Bill Belichick and Nick Saban and letting them do an alternative broadcast during games. God. Belichick and Saban almost doing like a Manning cast of those two. I believe it's NFL that they're talking about doing and not college football, but either way, that is a lot of X's and O's, LT.
Call it style.
That is a lot of X's and O's. I don't know what kind of mood you've got to be in for that. I mean, those are two of, obviously, the best to ever do it. They are technically... what was it that we watched with Saban and Belichick where they sat down and they were talking about how they used to actually punch the cards and put the rings on them?
Yeah, Football Life, I think, right?
Yeah, maybe it was
Football Life. Football Life
on the NFL Network.
Yeah.
I think it would take just being in that mood
to watch that part of the game.
I think it could be really interesting, though.
Yeah. It's a lot of X's and O's.
It is, and I'm almost like you've got to have somebody that's entertaining and a moderator, but I think he would get in their way and kind of annoy them.
Yep.
So I don't know how you would, once they get on a tangent, how you would pull them back. I don't know. I mean, I think it'd be really good, and I think it'd be really boring.
Peyton Manning, usually everything he touches media-wise is pretty good, so we'll see if they end up signing on and doing a alt cast with Belichick and Saban.
Yeah, if Peyton was the moderator, I think Peyton has good timing, and I think he would be able to interject. And obviously, he's got a lot of football knowledge, and he could add a little humor. If you had somebody like him involved with it outside of just producing this, I think he could be pretty good.
Yeah. All right, Sports Betting Alliance, we'll get back into some basketball and football going on coming up on the other side, which includes, I've been saving this all week for today, Bruce Feldman's ranking of coaches. Now that I've got LT all revved up on Lane Kiffin and Steve Sarkisian. I'll let you know where Bruce Feldman ranks some of the top coaches in college football from The Athletic. That's part of the conversation today until we get to Clint Lamb from Tuscaloosa. Tell us about the Sports Betting Alliance and exactly where we are on trying to get some gaming going on in the state of Alabama.
Yeah, look, there is movement every day on this, and it's going to be an interesting week to 2 weeks to 2-3 months. But just a couple of days ago, the Senate committee removed sports betting from the gaming bill that voters will decide on this fall. That means Alabama sports fans will not have the chance to vote for themselves on legalized sports betting in the state. If sports betting isn't included in this bill for the voters to decide this fall, Alabama sports fans are going to be stuck driving to Tennessee, Louisiana, Mississippi, but the fight isn't over yet. Sports betting can still be reinserted when the bill goes to conference with the House, who previously supported sports betting with an overwhelming vote. More than 4,000 Alabamians have already contacted their legislator to tell them they won't legalize sports betting in Alabama, but we need more. If you've already reached out to your senator or representative, do it again. If you haven't, now is the time. I've been overwhelmed with how many people have emailed, direct messaged me about this that are so passionate about it. Make sure your voice is heard now. This is paid for by the Sports Betting Alliance. You can go online, check out their organization, read more about Bill 151, sportsbettingalliance.org, or call this number, let your voice be heard. Tell them to vote yes, 334-261-0800. That's 334-261-0800.
Never miss anything Auburn. Watch Village Vice at Wardam Pods on YouTube and listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey, if you're looking for Birmingham's best pizza, you need to stop in and see our friends at Slice Pizza and Brew. It's as local as you can get, from the ingredients that go into every pizza to the beer on tap. For a great lunch or dinner, go see our friends today, Vestavia or Lakeview at Slice.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing. Let's face it, a home is one of the most powerful assets you can have, and our friends at Mortgage Right want to help you build wealth through home ownership. Mortgage Right is all about providing competitive rates, a variety of loan products, and a multitude of resources for a seamless home buying experience. They treat their borrowers like family and are always looking to bring more happy homeowners under their roof. See more by visiting mortgageright.com/TNR today and start living. That's mortgageright.com/TNR. NMLS 2239, equal housing lender.
Let me introduce you to the new line of Red Wing Athletic Work Shoes. This great new line is perfect for the industrial athlete, the guy who is working on concrete or running through the warehouse all day long. Red Wing Athletics use the same technology found in a running shoe, with soft mesh uppers, a lightweight aluminum toe for protection, and non-slip soles. This shoe is a winner. This comfortable new line of safety shoes are perfect for warehousing and light manufacturing. Plus, the colors look great. Stop by your local Red Wing shoe store, have your feet measured, and test drive a new pair of Red Wing Athletic Work Shoes.
Hang out with the Next Round on the go. Whether you're driving to work, running errands, sitting on the beach, or you just need a break from the real world, we can keep you company. Check out the Next Round, Mystery Fifth Hour, and our other shows on your favorite podcast app. We'll meet you there.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. On game day, you never have to decide which teams to watch, only what combination of bites, burgers, wings, and more to order. Plus, where else are your favorite draft beers always poured at a frozen 29 degrees? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Stick around after the sun sets. Twin Peaks is open really late. Wind down with bourbon and late-night bites. Only at Twin Peaks.
It's that time of year again. The Legacy Swap and Drop promotion is back. It's bigger than ever. Swap your current auto loan or RV loan to Legacy and drop your interest rate and monthly payment. Don't miss out on this opportunity to save big with our friends at Legacy Credit Union. Not a member yet? That's okay. You too can save by becoming a member today. Head over to swapanddrop.com. Apply in minutes. That's swapanddrop.com, or visit one of their 9 greater Birmingham area branches. Limited time offer. Terms and conditions may apply. See Credit Union for details. Federally insured by the NCUA.
Back with you on the Next Round. We'll talk some college football coaches' rankings here in just a second. I always find these so interesting of where Bruce Feldman ranks them. Stuart Mandel does his too, but we're sort of Bruce guys here on the show, so we'll talk about Bruce's coming up in a little bit. But an interesting thing going on in sports that I want to get LT and Lunsford's thoughts on this after I tell you about Precision Sports. Friends at Precision Sports Medicine and Orthopedic, the great providers there that'll get you back in the game right now. For 2024, you can make an appointment by simply calling this number, 205-512-3885. That's 512-3885. Or you can go online to Precision Sports Medicine and Orthopedics. That's precisionsportsortho.com/2024. precisionsportsortho.com/2024. Whether you've tweaked that shoulder doing something in the yard or playing with the kids or whatever happens, they'll get you back to work and get you back in the game. Orthopedic care, better together. precisionsportsortho.com/2024 for that care that you need. I've used them. Terrific people right there. We're getting a fight between Jake Paul and Mike Tyson.
Yeah, I'm excited about this. I was telling you, we had the conversation yesterday. I think Rocky brought it up about cell phones in school.
How are you excited about this?
Oh, I'm excited about it. Look, I've never liked Jake Paul, but I respect how committed he is to the craft of boxing. And the guy works his ass off.
And then there's Tyson.
And then there's Mike Tyson, who I saw, Jack was showing me him sparring just last week. And this is before I knew this fight was coming to fruition. At 58, dude can bring it. If you see, and I'm sure Scotty can probably pull, or Tyler can, some of the sparring videos.
Okay, maybe later in the show we'll get to that. But tell me what you were seeing.
Yeah, so, I mean, Mike Tyson just is still in really, really good shape. This is not Mike Tyson when he was the world champion, the most feared individual on the planet.
Okay, but there was one point when he was doing all these movies, he'd gotten really chunky.
Yeah.
So he's back in shape.
Oh, he's back in shape.
Okay, now this is more interesting because I'm looking at hangover Mike Tyson.
No, Mike Tyson has still got it 1,000%. Now, here's the thing, though. Tyson is 58 years old. Jake Paul is in his prime at 27. Jake's only fought 10 professional fights, and I wouldn't even call him. You know, when he fought Fury, Tyson Fury's half-brother, the only loss that he was given, that guy can fight a little bit. I mean, Jake Paul, for a influencer, YouTuber, he's got skills. He's got heavy hands. I've said this before. Is he going to be able to take a blow from Tyson? I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be an exhibition fight, if it's going to be a professional fight. It's going to be at AT&T in Dallas. It's going to be Netflix. They're going to carry this fight, the first major fight they've carried.
They're the main thing on the card?
Oh, yeah, they're absolutely.
Okay. All right.
This will be one of the, let me go on and tell you, this will be one of the top, I'll say top 5 boxing matches viewed ever.
Ever. I remember the McGregor. Who did McGregor fight?
Mayweather.
Mayweather.
Yep.
Who also, by the way, don't forget Jake Paul quote unquote fought him too.
Well, that was
Logan
Paul.
That's what this fight is going to be, though. It's going to be something like that,
where they don't really hit each other.
Yeah. That's different because Floyd Mayweather has frustrated people for years because defensively he is the best I've ever seen, and he just goes out there, he'll tire you out. There's not a ton of action. I think we will see a lot of action in this fight. I really believe that. So I completely agree with or disagree with you, Lunsford. I think this will.
I'm sure people will tune in. I'm sure I'm going to watch it too because it's on Netflix, so I can just turn it on and watch it. But it's going to be stupid.
Yeah, there you go. There's Tyson right here. You tell me at 58.
That's not to say Jake Paul can't box, and obviously Mike Tyson can still do it. Even a tiny sliver of his former self would still destroy literally everybody.
Yeah, can you imagine getting hit? Look at the quickness for a 58-year-old. I've always said this, like, up until a man's about 70, if they can whip somebody's ass, they've still got it. They've got that country strong, but he actually is sparring now. He's training. I literally, when they get to this point, I don't know how seriously they're going to take this fight. Again, I don't know if it's going to be an exhibition fight or a pro fight. July 20th, when nobody's doing anything in the dead heat of the summer, I was just texting Jack. He is like, we have to do everything in our power to watch every bit of this. So I'm all in.
And Lunsford, you think it'll be...
Oh, I'll watch it, I'm sure. Yeah, but it's just going to be stupid. Honestly, I mean, it is.
Should we all get together and have a big viewing party?
We got yin and yang opinions.
Yeah.
No, I don't disagree. I mean, it might be. I mean, I'm just excited about it because how ridiculous is it to say that Jake Paul, who kind of made his bones on showing dead bodies on YouTube or something.
That was also his brother. See, it's easy to confuse the two.
Yeah. No, I get that. But that's, as influencers, they have done an incredible job of marketing themselves with this prime drink that all the kids drink.
Yeah.
I mean, they are multi-millionaires, but who would have thought there was ever a day where one of the greatest of all time, the most feared of all time, would fight a YouTube influencer? I mean, that's our world now.
Yeah, but he's in the late 50s.
And collect that paycheck.
Oh, I get it.
Yeah.
Well, if he wasn't in the late 50s, he'd probably chilling.
It's a money grab.
Hey, I don't know if it's exhibition. I don't know if it's real. I don't know how many rounds it's going to go, and who knows what the betting odds are going to be on any of this. But if you can bet that Jake Paul does not get knocked out at any decent odds, I would put every penny you possibly own on that, because there's a 0% chance he gets knocked out.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Because it's all just for show. It's all collecting that paycheck. Everybody's going to watch it. I'll watch it even still. You'll watch it. Everybody will watch it. But it's going to be fun.
I do think boxing has had a problem with some fixed bouts before. I don't know why you would fix this one.
No, it's not fixed. It's just more of like what Mayweather or Logan Paul was. It's just kind of for fun.
Yeah.
Just to do it.
Almost like WWE,
Floyd Mayweather,
it'll be scripted.
Yeah, even though Floyd Mayweather just runs away from people the whole time, that's what I get when I watch him. He still would have knocked Logan Paul out.
Okay.
If it was real.
While you're on the microphone, I see that we've got a link now, Bracket Challenge. You can go ahead and reserve your spot in our Bracket Challenge, nextroundlive.com. Tell us about the details.
Yeah, go. The link to the actual bracket is in the chat, or you can go to nextroundlive.com, scroll down under the live show, and the link is there. You can go sign up, get in. Obviously, once the picks are selections actually made on Sunday, then you can actually join.
All right, so reserve that spot. The link is there, and get ready next week from Sunday, Selection Sunday, to start making your picks right there with our bracket challenge. Nextroundlive.com, nextroundlive.com. All right, our friends at Hemp Hill, as we get back to football, tell us about our friends at Hemp Hill, LT.
Yeah, make sure that HVAC unit ready to keep up with the changing weather. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Trust the name Birmingham has trusted since 1954 for all of your plumbing, heating, and cooling needs. 205-229-2090, hemphillservices.com. It's hard to stop a train.
All right, you guys reacting in the chat room. We'll see who ends up being right with Jake Paul and Mike Tyson. That's July 20th for those asking. LT and Netflix, that'll be from Dallas for that. People are asking, would you have to have a subscription for that? I would assume yes on that. Yes. But is there a pay-per-view thing on the top of that? We'll get you more details as we get closer to that. All right, yesterday you had a chance to talk to defensive players and defensive coaches in Tuscaloosa. Kane Womack, who was on our show when we were in Tuscaloosa, just a really great guy, has a thing called the accountability circle. Listen to him explain the accountability circle, and then I want your reaction to it, LT. Here's Kane Womack, the Alabama defensive coordinator.
Well, the accountability circle is something we've done for a very long time. I got it from Larry Fedora years ago, who I played for. We hold young men accountable for their effort and their finish, and so when they do not meet the standard and expectation, right, that is in the form of a loaf. And so we hold them accountable in the next day's practice for a loaf. We don't hold them accountable immediately. We go in, we chart it, we look at it, and then we give them the opportunity for production in the next day's practice. So if they get a PBU, they get a sack, they get a takeaway, those are minus loafs at the end, and those loafs are paid in up downs. When you step up to the middle of a circle of guys and you say, my name's Kane Womack and I let Swarm D down 5 times, right? Those guys pay the up downs for you. You got to stand there and watch your teammates pay for the things that you didn't do to meet the standard. And so there's real accountability in that. And I think, we'll see significant improvement from day 1 to day 2, I would hope.
Boy, this is Pyle eating the jelly donut.
What do you think of this?
For everyone in Full Metal Jacket. Look, I like the philosophy. It came from Larry Fedora, so take that for what it's worth. I don't remember any of Larry Fedora's defenses being good. Do you?
I do not.
Yeah. We like Kane. Had him on the show last week ago yesterday. I like the accountability. I like the philosophy, and we'll see how it translates.
Everybody has their own, and some you don't talk about. Some don't have a cool name like the accountability circle. It gave me a little Meet the Parents feel to it. What was that?
It's the trust circle.
The trust circle there, the accountability circle.
Circle of trust, my bad.
It's circle of trust.
Yeah, you got to be careful on these things, though. And we know today's athlete is, what would you say? I don't want to say soft. That's probably a bad way to label it. Yeah. They are not very patient when it comes to getting tough love.
Yeah, but this doesn't sound
what they call options.
This doesn't sound as tough love as just getting your ass chewed out in the moment, though. Me walking up and grabbing the side of your shoulder pads and leading you back to the spot where you effed up and then telling you how to do it right at the same time. The accountability circle does sound a little less aggressive than Nick Saban climbing up your why.
If you have and I don't know if you've seen one of the great war movies of all time, Full Metal Jacket, but if you've got a pile that continues to mess up, then that guy's probably going to be like, it's time for me to tap out and get the hell out of here. And maybe that's what they want. Like
to force the guys who
I'm just saying, if you continue to make your teammates.
Well, that's how they do the Navy SEALs. Like they want to weed out the weak ones. You're going to quit. We want you to quit. If you're not going to stay here, quit.
Yes, Zach is right. Stanley Kubrick was amazing. He was no Lane Kiffin.
Jelly donut. Sir, yes, sir.
You got to see that, Dunaway.
Appreciate everybody over in the chat room for jumping in. The show being brought to you by our friends at Redmond Vodka. Tell us about Redmond Vodka, LT.
Yeah, it's locally owned and operated. It's gluten-free. It's 8 times distilled. It's available in 22 states. Ask for it by name. If you're at a local bar or restaurant, if they don't have it, tell them to get it. It's just a great product, fantastic taste. We've got plenty up here at the next round. Make sure you stop into your local package store, including the beverage place, pink package, and pick up a bottle of Redmont vodka.
Congratulations to the Vols. They're your SEC champions. We'll talk more basketball later in the show. Clint Lamb's our first guest coming up in about 30 minutes on what went on at Alabama's practice yesterday. I will tell you, are you a fan of Denzel Washington? Most people are.
Yep.
Jake Gyllenhaal, some of you are not.
Creasy Bear. I think Gyllenhaal's a good actor.
They're going to be together on Broadway in 2025. They are starring in a Broadway performance of Othello on Broadway.
So I think Denzel he didn't do a movie version of that. He did Macbeth, right?
Yeah.
So why is Gyllenhaal and Denzel on Broadway?
Well, I mean, a lot of these guys want to go back. A lot got their start in theater, and they want to go back, and they really enjoy that live element.
So this is Chip Kelly. Chip Kelly leaving UCLA as a head coach to be an offensive coordinator?
Well, I don't know if you heard this, and it was really a great soundbite from Chip Kelly when he took the podium. I think it was yesterday for the first time in Columbus.
Yesterday.
Do we have that clip?
We don't.
Okay. Well, Chip was asked, why he did this, and he used an analogy from John Lennon, believe it or not. And apparently when John Lennon was in grade school over in Liverpool or wherever it was, his teacher, they did an assignment, what do you want to be when you grow up? And he put happy. And she was like, that's not an answer. And his answer, I forgot how he answered, but it was pretty incredible. And Chip Kelly used that analogy. Look, everybody thinks I had this great job. I just want to be happy. And I think that resonates with a lot of people. You might seem like you're in a great spot, but being happy is ultimately the most important thing. Just because he was the head coach of a Power 5 school that was going to the Big Ten, it didn't make him happy. He wants to call plays. He's got a good relationship. He's known Ryan Day since he was a kid. He wants to go to a great program, and he just wants to do what he loves to do, and that's call plays.
Yeah, good story in the LA Times about quiet quitting. And they said that Chip Kelly was taking money from UCLA while quiet quitting since he stepped foot on campus in Westwood. And they're looking forward to life without Chip in Los Angeles. Yeah. He's now in Columbus at Ohio State, where he's going to be happy.
And he'll do a hell of a job
calling plays for Ryan Day there. When we come back, where do you put Ryan Day on your top 10, top 20, top 50 coaches of all time? We'll talk about that part of the conversation as we roll on today. Thanks to our friends at Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. This is The Next Round.
Follow The Next Round on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Next Round Live.
Hello, sports fans. The Alabama State Senate will soon decide if you get the right to vote on a lottery, casinos, and sports betting. But they need to hear from you. Did you know Alabama is one of only 12 states where you can't legally bet on sports? House Bill 151 allows you to choose whether you can place a bet on the big game this weekend. Call your state senator today and tell them to vote yes on the lottery and gaming bill. For more information, go to sportsbettingalliance.org. Paid for by Sports Betting Alliance. sportsbettingalliance.org.
Let them vote. Let them vote.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
Maybe you follow us on Instagram, Facebook, X, LinkedIn, or TikTok. While we're changing the game yet again, Tyler's Telegrams has been developed exclusively for you.
Hi, this is the lovable boy you know as Tyler the Intern. I'm a businessman now. I will come directly to your door and tell you every time a new piece of TNR content drops. For the low, low price of $740,000, you can be notified by me, one of the biggest stars of the Next Round, about that thing you missed. Sure, the rest of those social media services are free, but so is radio, and we all know how well that's trending.
Tyler's Telegrams is currently operating exclusively in Bibb County. Other social media platforms are available everywhere.
Ready to swap from your current auto or RV loan provider and drop your interest rate? Now is your chance. With Legacy Credit Union's annual swap and drop promotion, you can swap your current loan and save with Legacy in minutes. Whether you're a member or a potential member, Legacy Credit Union is here to help you drive into savings. Go online to swapanddrop.com or visit one of their 9 locations to take advantage of this incredible offer. Limited time offer, terms and conditions may apply. See Credit Union for details. Federally insured by the NCUA.
Did you know that colon cancer is the second leading cause of cancer deaths in America and that it affects men and women equally? If you're older than 45, Rump Shaker encourages you to talk to your doctor about screening options that are available. Colon cancer is preventable, treatable, and beatable, but early detection is the key. For more information, please visit us. Go to rumpshakerinc.org. Also, 6th annual Rump Shaker 5K coming up Saturday, March 23rd at Regents Field. You can register online, rumpshakerinc.org.
If renting is putting a dent in your bank account, here's your sign from the universe that it's time to buy a new home. And who better to help you through the ins and outs of home buying than our friends at Mortgage Right. With Mortgage Right, you don't have to worry about becoming a short notice mortgage expert because they do all the heavy lifting for you. They're trusted mortgage professionals and they'll help you choose the right mortgage option and stand by your side every step of the way. Visit mortgageright.com/TNR to buy before renting runs you dry. That's mortgageright.com/TNR. NMLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender.
Rolling on with you as we get ready. More basketball tonight. Good one. Washington and Washington State, 8 o'clock FS1. Tennessee's your SEC champion. Houston, at least sharing the Big 12 as they got a good win against UCF. They're a little short-handed. They win it outright if they beat Kansas coming up this weekend.
I mean, that was the one thing. It was like death taxes and Bill Self regular season championships in the Big 12 with Kansas, and here comes Houston in year one with Kelvin Sampson. And they are the best team in the Big 12 right now.
And UNA, North Alabama, and Austin Peay play in the semifinals of the ASUN tonight, and the chance to play for a ticket to the NCAA tournament for the winner coming up this weekend. And you guys brought up Robbie Avila from Indiana State the other day.
Yeah.
What was the nickname you threw out?
It is Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Because he is a pasty white kid, Indiana State, a little chunky, goggles and everything.
He's got the specs, the goggles.
2 other nicknames that they've thrown out there now other than Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Oh, these are going to have to be good because I don't think you can beat that one.
Because of his goggles, Steph Blurry. You don't like Steph Blurry?
But no, it's not as good as the other.
And his goggles and his look, Larry Nerd. And he plays at Indiana State as well, Larry Nerd. So you don't like either one of those?
Yeah, Larry Nerd's better, but Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is incredible.
He's a 17-6-3 guy, Indiana State.
He's a player, but right when they got on the radar, there he is. There's Mr. Avila over there, down in the paint. Looks like literally, if you went to the Y and had a pickup game, that is the kind of guy that you would see playing amongst yourself.
And you would not pick him first.
But, right when they got on the national radar, ranked for the first time since 1979, they really haven't been the same.
Yep. So there's Indiana State. Could be back in the tournament.
Do you miss Evansville?
That's awesome. Daniel Michelson Jordan.
Michelson Jordan because of Michelson Laser Vision.
Oh,
I like that one, Daniel.
Who came up with that one?
Thank you, Daniel.
Yeah, that is really good. You miss Evansville, the Purple Aces. Remember when they used to have the T-shirts, basically?
Yeah, they had the weird uniforms.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Hey, our friends at Legacy, LegacyCreditUnion.com, they got the swap and drop program back right now. This is a great program with Legacy where if you've got a truck loan, car loan, boat loan, any other kind of loan with another agency, you can swap it over to Legacy and drop those rates down. Swap and drop, it's that easy. Go to swapanddrop.com. Swapanddrop.com. It's going on right now with our friends at Legacy, and you get details at all the 9 local area branches of Legacy. Details on everything, including engaged checking at legacycreditunion.com. But specifically for the auto loans and truck loans right now, swapanddrop.com. Swap it over to Legacy and jump into that. I want to ask you about some coaches from our buddy Bruce Feldman, who does this every year. The ranking of the top 25 coaches in college football. And this is from Bruce Feldman at The Athletic. If I said Ryan Day, Brian Kelly, those two, who's ahead of one for the U?
Oh, it's got to be Brian Kelly. I mean, Brian Kelly, to me at least it has to be. Guy has won absolutely everywhere. And when you look at a major disappointing season, which it was last year at LSU, they still won 10 games. And you had the Heisman Trophy winner. So that was his down year.
Well, they end up 10-3.
10-3, yeah.
10-3.
Year before, year one, he plays for the SEC championship. He beats Alabama. I think it's tight. I think both of these guys, in my opinion, are top 5 guys. I had a conversation with a big Alabama fan last night talking about Caleb Downs. And they're like, I think Caleb's career is going to go the wrong way because of Ryan Day. And I'm like, the only thing Ryan Day hasn't done is beaten Michigan lately and won a national championship. And I know that's big for Ohio State fans, but I truly believe he's going to win one this year.
He has Ryan Day right ahead of Brian Kelly, but yin and yang, they're both really good coaches.
Top 5, though?
I'll give you the whole list here in a second. I just want to, and before I unveil the list to you, I wanted to do a couple of these with you. But here's the interesting stat from Bruce on Brian Kelly, who's 62, by the way. So at some point, age will start becoming a factor against him in recruiting. At LSU in 2 years, he's 3-5 against the top 25. Does that concern you?
Yeah. I mean, 3-5 is not good against top 25 if you're LSU.
One of those is the win against Alabama, obviously.
Yeah. I mean, if you flipped it, if you were 5-3, then I'd be like, in 2 years, that's not bad. But 3-5, when you've got a quarterback like Jaden Daniels, yes, that is not good.
That's top 25 now. That's not like against the top 10.
Right.
Since they lost to Alabama when he was at Notre Dame in the BCS title game, Kelly's teams are 5-13 against the AP top 10. Now, that includes a lot of those when he was at Notre Dame, I feel like, when he had lesser talent against those top 10 teams.
Yeah,
you agree?
I would agree with that 100%.
James Franklin, is he in your top 10?
I don't know. I'm kind of marking things out right now. Here's the crazy thing. For the first time in forever, it's Kirby Smart, and then it's all subjective. And so I think it is difficult to put a top 10 together. James Franklin probably is right outside the top 10. I'm just guessing right now.
He would be outside of your top 10.
He would be outside my top 10. And like maybe based on what he's done on the field, maybe he deserves to be there with active guys. But if I was hiring 10 guys, he would not be in my top 10.
Would Steve Sarkisian be in your top 10?
No.
Would... let's see, who else?
This is going to get tough. I mean, I've got to have a top 10.
Would Mike Norvell be in your top 10?
Probably not.
Would Lincoln Riley be in your top 10?
Yes, Lincoln Riley. And I know last year was a bad look, 8-5.
Yeah.
But I'm just going Lincoln Riley from beginning, day one as a head coach at Oklahoma to where he is right now. Lincoln Riley, 1,000% would be my top 10.
Okay. Obviously, you think Kalen DeBoer, Washington or Alabama, is a top 10 guy for you.
I mean, you just look at 24-3 over the last 2 years.
Okay. Dabo Swinney still in your top 10?
Got to be, yes.
Okay, here is Bruce Feldman's top 10. I'll start at 10 for those listening. Mike Norvell of Florida State at number 10.
Okay, don't have a problem with that. Again, it's really tight.
Probably need to see another good year for him to keep him in the top 10 conversation. Lincoln Riley at number 9.
He should be there.
Down a couple of spots. Kyle Whittingham at number 8.
He should be there.
Maybe even a little higher.
Yep.
James Franklin is 7. I would have Whittingham higher than Franklin.
I would too.
I'd have Riley higher than Franklin. I may have Mike Norvell higher than Franklin. Brian Kelly is 6. Ryan Day is 5. Kalen DeBoer is 4. Kirby is 1. Dabo is 2. Lance Leopold is 3.
Lance Leopold's never had a good job. And you look at what he did with Kansas last year to get them to 9 wins, to get them in the top 25. And with Jalen Daniels coming back, if he can stay healthy, and he had a lot of those wins with Jason Bean, a backup quarterback, there's a good chance they win the Big 12 and they're in a college football playoff this year. And I don't know if Lance is one of these guys that really has the same, goals that a guy like Kalen DeBoer has and ultimately gets a bigger job offer and wants to go somewhere else. But I've got no problem with this.
I would tell you that in the chat room, Goose says Dabo will never be number 2 with his bull crap about the portal and the NIL.
Yeah, but
number
I think
2 right now with the resume. But I want to, and this graphic from our friends at On3 Sports, I want to point out to you that your long-held thoughts on Sarkisian and Kiffin on that top 10 from Bruce Feldman at The Athletic, there is no Sarkisian or Kiffin.
Yeah, and I respect Bruce a lot more than I respect a lot of people in this industry. So I've got no problem with that. Look, great years, and I think if Sark backs it up and they get to another college football playoff and Lane gets to his first, I think these guys will be in the top 10. And then you can start to make the discussion of they deserve it. But in that top 10, if you just had to hire 5, what's the order of the 5 you would hire?
I would hire Kirby Smart. I would hire Kalen DeBoer.
I'm with you so far.
I would hire Kyle Whittingham, but he's 65 now. I would hire Brian Kelly, but he's 62. And I'd hire Mike Norvell. I like Mike Norvell.
Yeah, I'm almost with you. I would go Kirby. I think after Kirby, I would go Kalen DeBoer. Then I would go Brian Kelly. I think at that point, I would go Whittingham.
We're spot on now.
And then, we're just one off. And then I think I would go Lance Leopold.
You go Leopold over Norvell.
Yeah, and over Lincoln Riley.
Yeah.
And coming into last year, if we go back a year ago, I would have said that Lincoln Riley was in my top 5 100%. But
I'd love to have Lincoln as my offensive coordinator.
Oh, I would too. Yeah.
Now, if Lincoln leaves and goes somewhere like Chip Kelly did, now we're talking.
Yeah.
For those that are wondering, outside of that top 10, Sark is at number 11. One of your favorites at number 12, I'm surprised you didn't mention him, Chris Kleiman.
Yeah, Kleiman's great. But, again, he has won a Big 12, and he's coming off 9 wins last year, and there's never a lot of expectation. And he's going to be doing it with basically a new starting quarterback after Will Howard took off to Ohio State in the offseason through the portal. But I think the expectation, and you tell me what you feel about this. Kansas State with Kleiman, Utah with Whittingham, or Kansas with Leopold, one of those 3 guys is probably going to be in a college football playoff this year.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Just because the automatic bid there with the Big 12. Jeff Brom's at 13. Mark Stoops is at 14. Kirk Ferentz of Iowa is 15. Dave Clawson, who you like a lot.
All those guys that you just mentioned, really good coaches.
At 16. Josh Heupel at 17. Still no Lane Kiffin. Matt Rule, Nebraska, 18. Luke Fickell, Wisconsin, 19. Mike Gundy, Oklahoma State, 20. Lane Kiffin, 21. Right ahead of Jonathan Smith of Michigan State now. Hugh Freeze of Auburn is 23. Jed Fish now at Washington, 24. And at number 25 on his list, Rich Rodriguez, Jacksonville State.
So Lane might be a little low there. I don't know if Lane did something to upset.
So even you think Lane is low at 21?
Well, I mean, that seems a little low. Here's a couple of things out of that. First of all, I've never had any interaction with Lane. We've interviewed him a few times. I've never thought that he was I think he's a really good offensive coordinator. No Mario Cristobal. And you think about the money that they have paid.
Just missed the cut. Troy Calhoun, Jamie Chadwell. I don't know if these are in particular
order. Where's Matt
order.
Campbell?
Matt Campbell, Jeff Traylor. So this is not alphabetical order. This is, I guess, just missed the cut in this order. Mario Cristobal just ahead of Eli Drinkowitz.
I mean, look, I know Luke Fickell has been to a college football playoff. Seems maybe a little high. You?
Luke Fickell being ranked at all. Yeah, where was he ranked?
No, he was 19, I think.
He was 19, ahead of Mike Gundy.
Yeah, no Mike Elko. I like Mike Elko a lot.
No Elko.
Where was Dan Lanning?
Dan Lanning, that's another guy. I don't think he's on here at all.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. Jonathan Smith should be higher. Jonathan Smith, and we'll see. Because if Mel Tucker can win 11 games in East Lansing.
Wow, Dan Lanning's not even in just missed the cut.
Well, can't coach a big game. He'll probably get there. If he doesn't, he'll be out.
I mean, did I skip over Dan Lanning somewhere?
I didn't hear it.
No.
Yeah.
That is amazing. Yeah. No Dan Lanning?
Jonathan Smith should be hired. Do you agree with that?
I don't know. I want to see. I mean, he did do a great job at Oregon State. And he's got another crappy job, so it's going to be hard to tell. I'd like to see him in a really good job.
Yeah, I don't think Michigan State's that bad of a job. It seems like there's always a black cloud over that program, and it doesn't matter what the sport is. But if Mark D'Antonio can get them to a college football playoff, and if Mel Tucker can win 11 games with them, I think Jonathan Smith is by far the best coach they've had.
Oh, I do, but now it's USC and Washington and Oregon's in that mix too.
Yeah, but you got to think Washington, it's going to be moment in times like 2016, what we had this past year. Lincoln Riley, we'll see what happens there. But I think Jonathan Smith's got a chance to – I mean, when we talk about the SEC getting 4, there will be some years where the Big Ten gets 4 teams in.
I'll say this right now. I would suck as an athletic director because Dan Lanning is on my list. He doesn't get the honorable mention from Bruce Feldman.
Yeah, you probably would.
Oh, I would suck as an AD. Absolutely.
Well, because if somebody knew your name, you'd hire them.
Yeah.
You call it, Jim, man.
I fire him so quickly.
I remember a interview we did a couple of years ago.
Top of the hour, Dr. B bringing you LT's hair. Coming back like it's 2010 again or 2005. Whenever you had your best hair, it's starting to look that way again.
Well, I showed up last night at trivia with no hat on, and Will Haver's like, "Oh my gosh, I've never seen you in not a hat." I'm like, dude. And when we started doing the next round is when I started wearing hats.
Like you never used to wear hats. You're right.
Ever. And he's like, dude, and I was like, there's a thing that rolls with me, him, and Rocky on the internal advertising there, and I was like, just wait and see, and you're going to see me without a hat. But I wear hats a lot less because I like to show the work that Dr. B has done.
Absolutely.
Again, I was really thinning out when we started this venture over 2 years ago. Went to see Dr. B. I do that non-invasive treatment 3 times, 30 minutes each time on the couch. That is it. My hair is more than doubled in thickness. Make the call to Dr. B. If you've got a boyfriend, husband, good friend, they're starting to thin out a little bit. Mine was right there on the crown. I couldn't see it. I'm almost 6'3", so I'd look in the mirror. Everything seemed to be fine with me. My kids used to rib me about it a little bit. I didn't believe it until we started doing this. I would turn to the side to talk to a guest, and I was like, damn, I am thinning out. That's when I asked around. Dr. Beckenstein is the name everyone mentioned. Make the phone call today. Call Dr. B and that great staff, 205-319-0316. Tell them the next round sent you. For more information, do a deep dive today. Go to t3hair.net.
Follow LT on Twitter @TheLanceTaylor.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the next round to tell you about our friends at Gutter Cap. Gutter Cap's that patented aluminum cover system that fits over most existing gutters to keep out debris and eliminate that gutter cleaning. It's backed with a lifetime warranty, almost 20-year service record right here in Birmingham. Stay off that dangerous ladder forever. 45% off the retail price now if you call guttercapbirmingham.com. Call my good friend Chris Stewart now, 205-823-2212. Cap it, don't snap it. It's Gutter Cap.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. On game day, you never have to decide which teams to watch, only what combination of bites, burgers, wings, and more to order. Plus, where else are your favorite draft beers always poured at a frozen 29 degrees? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Stick around after the sun sets. Twin Peaks is open really late. Wind down with bourbon and late night bites. Only at Twin Peaks.
Spring weather is here, and our friends at Hemp Hill Services are offering a $69 HVAC tune-up plus 10% off any service call when you mention the next round. Call Adam, Chad, and the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Make sure your HVAC unit is ready to keep up with the changing weather. Hemp Hill Services, locally owned and operated independent train dealer. The team can service all makes and models. For all of your plumbing, heating, and cooling needs, call Hemp Hill Services. It's hard to stop a train. 205-229-2090 or hemphillservices.com. That's 205-229-2090, hemphillservices.com.
You got to look your best to play your best, and our friends at Bandwagon can help your team find the perfect uniforms for that upcoming season. Bandwagon is with you every step of the way, from developing your team logo design to choosing from their multitude of samples. You name the sport, they can make it happen. To get your uniform journey started, you can shoot them a message on any social media platform or check out their website, bandwagonsports.com. That's bandwagonsports.com. Next round listeners, it's time to jump on the bandwagon.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about my friends at Michelson Laser Vision, located conveniently UAB Highlands. Almost 20 years ago, I went in for the procedure. Only took 12 minutes for both eyes. When I went in, I had 2200 vision. I was legally blind. Now I have 20/15 vision, still 19 years later. Make the call today. Schedule a hassle-free consultation. 969-8100. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, Michelson Laser Vision. Make sure you tell them the Next Round sent you. 969-8100 or MichelsonLaserVision.com.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com, for the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, The Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Lance'sLock.com, Lance'sLock.com for some more plays tonight. There's a huge NBA game tonight if you're an NBA fan or if you're just looking forward to the playoffs. Boston and Denver, the betting favorites to play each other for the NBA championships. When do they do that? June, July, August? It's June, right?
It is June.
It's June.
Yeah. Remember, the NBA playoffs go forever. Remember, what was it, 40 nights? Or how do they promote it on
40
TV?
nights
40 games and 40 nights or something like that.
40 nights of basketball or something. 9 p.m. TNT tonight on Barkley's show. It's Boston and Denver tonight, so that should be a lot of fun there. Braves baseball this afternoon. If you're into spring training baseball, ESPN 12 noon, Braves and Red Sox. All that's going on. Lance'sLock.com. Go get your plays there. If you're out there wanting to throw something on some money somewhere or get into an office pool, he's got some good information for you. Lance'sLock.com. And the show being brought to you in part by our friends at Hemp Hill Services.
Yeah, 205-229-2090. Hard to stop a train. Trust the name. Birmingham has trusted since 1954 for all of your plumbing, heating, and cooling needs. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys there. Tell them the Next Round sent you. For more information, hemphillservices.com.
And by the way, if you were watching the end of the Tennessee championship win over South Carolina last night, and you are someone who occasionally puts some money on something, 6.5 was the betting line, 66.59, which is 7, depending on which side of that was, and a meaningless dunk at the end at the buzzer. And you're sitting there going, if you've got, say, Tennessee and you're giving 6.5, like maybe I was, you're like, oh, no, I just lost because he jammed that one in, cutting it to 5. And the buzzer, they actually go to replay for a meaningless basket unless you had something on it. And they said the basket did not count. And a winner if you had it Tennessee.
Okay, so the game was on at Odie's, but at that point I wasn't paying attention because we were in the middle of trivia. A couple of things. Did you think the basket was good?
Just with my luck, yes.
Okay. Back in the day, they just would have done whatever they thought the call in the court was. They wouldn't have reviewed that. I think because there is so much gambling, wagering going on legally now, I think they've got to take a look at that.
And ESPN's Tom Hartnett stayed with it. They didn't show the review, but you could actually hear the referee saying...
Is that why they stayed with it, though?
I believe they do that now.
Yeah.
They stay with it just because of the legalized wagering in our country. Matt was with me. I seriously thought that dunk at the end had cost me. So boom, it was in there.
That'd be tough. But again, you've got to have a strong stomach to wager on hoops, because I can't tell you how many times this stuff happens. And I've said, I would say 6, 7 underdogs plus 4.5 or 5.5 that have gone to overtime this year that I have lost. But you guys are up 14 Tennessee. It seems like they're running away with that game. South Carolina starts chipping. They get it down to 3. When they got it down to 3, I was like, damn, South Carolina's covering this game.
And I'm watching it, LT, and I'm like, should I stop watching it? Because I'm one of those superstitious guys. But I'm watching it, and I had to pull up the Iowa State other game in my quad box. I had to pull that up last night. By the way, thank you, YouTube TV. It started last night. First time I noticed it. I can now on my YouTube TV create my own boxes.
That's great. That's fantastic for the college football season because you couldn't do that.
I didn't know that.
Started last night.
Now, is it easy to do, or is it something that Lunsford's going to have to teach me how to do it?
It's easy to do. Now, the problem is I couldn't, like I wanted to last night, and I know you guys are going to think, oh, Jim, blah, 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 blah. But I wanted to go quad box with 3 basketball games and, well, actually 2 basketball games, a hockey, and the women's soccer. And I couldn't do all that.
That goes back. That's crazy. We're here. That is 2015, Back to the Future 2, where little Marty McFly goes, give me channel 42, 58. It's like 16 boxes. Yeah. And then we're finally there.
What soccer game was last night?
It was U.S. women.
They played in the rain, didn't they?
They shouldn't have played it, Rockstar. Show me the picture.
Did they get beat again?
No, they won in penalty kicks. They beat number 1 seed Canada, so they'll play for the Gold Cup championship. But torrential rains, they played. I mean, everyone was
saying,
Alex
Morgan?
Going to the ground. They're playing in a downpour in San Diego, where every time they'd kick the ball trying to pass it, it would go just like 5 yards. And that's how the Americans scored the first goal, by the way. And everyone who played why did
they play it? Was everybody on the edge of their seat and everybody wanted this thing played?
Well, everybody who's ever played the game, including Julie Foudy, was on social media saying, stop the match. We shouldn't even be playing in this. I would imagine it's one of those TV situations that we need to play it tonight. So they'll play Brazil for the championship coming up this weekend. But insane that, we'll stop NASCAR because of the no tread tires. The first sprinkle. We'll stop baseball when it gets muddy out there. They're out there. We can't even kick the ball across the field in San Diego.
Those are awful games too. They're awful to watch.
Yeah,
it's not fun at all.
And MLS the other night played one in a snowstorm. And
never seen that.
They were like the ball. It was so deep in snow that you couldn't pass the ball.
I've seen that one time. There was like I hate even I'm saying this, a friendly in Denver a couple of years ago, right? And it was
I'm not even sure you're American anymore.
And it was all in snow.
And they have a white ball.
But you know what's crazy is that's so unwatchable, whatever. But like if we have in the game in Buffalo a couple of years ago, there was complete blizzard and you couldn't move the football, but we loved sitting on our couch watching the NFL in those conditions.
Yeah, football, like watching other people be miserable.
Yeah. It is crazy. We shouldn't have played the Chiefs-Dolphins game this year, in my opinion, either. It was too cold.
Oh.
Thought it impacted the game, but whatever. All right, tell us about our friends at Michelson Laser Vision, and then I got to ask you a question off of the rankings list, which a lot of you guys did not like in the chat room from Bruce Feldman. You disagree? I don't know if you were disagreeing because Hugh Freeze was 23rd or because Kalen DeBoer was 4, but you didn't like it. But I want to ask you, after you tell us about Michelson, who needs to prove themselves this year? Is there a handful of coaches that you think, man, it's time for you to put up or shut up this year? Tell us about Michelson.
205-969-8100. That is the number you need to call. Ask for Amy Teller. The Next Round sent you. They're going to hook you up pre-inflation pricing. Seems like everything is going up in price, but not for LASIK at Michelson Laser Vision. Dr. Jennifer and Mark Michelson, they've held the cost of LASIK steady at the pre-inflation pricing from 2 years ago. Looks like folks are starting to get their tax refunds. This is something you spend it on yourself. The gift of sight from Uncle Sam, 205-969-8100. I'm speaking from experience. I've got the 2015 vision, better than 2020. Make the phone call that I made 2 decades ago, 205-969-8100. You can always go online, michelsonlaservision.com.
By the way, Robert says Iowa State got fouled with 1 second left last night to get me the cover on a plus 550 parlay. Hey,
boy, you never wager, do you?
That was Robert that said that.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I thought that was you.
No, for me, I was screaming, please let Ziegler get fouled last night because I won a parlay. I needed him to get over to 12.5. He had to hit 2 free throws late.
He kind of drives me crazy, man. When I've got money on Tennessee, there's just something a little shaky with Ziegler. He's been there forever.
Because he was such a big part of their offense, because of Dalton Connect, they're having to run so much through Dalton Connect. I think it's hurting Ziegler down the stretch. There was a point in that game last night when South Carolina was making the comeback. that Ziegler would basically stand there and wait for Connect to make several moves to hand him the ball. Insane. MyBookie.ag if you want to jump in, promo code next round and enjoy that. Who's a coach that has to in college football prove something this year? We'll make this the Mario Cristobal Award because
I was going to say Cristobal is one of these guys.
We'll give this, instead of the Crystal Trophy, this is the Crystal Ball of coaches that got to prove themselves this year. So he's a given. You've talked about that many times. Who else would you put on that list that needs to prove themselves this year?
Well, I'm not going to say it, but quickly, just one little side note. Dabo Swinney just in today's NIL and transfer portal.
Because since they've changed the game, he hasn't really proved. Now, they had a 10-win season, but...
Well, they were 9 wins.
Yeah, but 2 years ago it was a 10-win season during NIL. But he hasn't really proved he could be at a championship level since they've really changed the landscape.
No, it's been more like Kentucky. I mean, they've just been, hovering around 15 to 20, and they haven't been a factor in the national picture. But I wouldn't include him because this guy's got multiple national championships, and he doesn't need to prove anything. Your boy Dan Lanning. You're going into the Big Ten, but the favorite is going to be Ohio State.
But they're close.
But Oregon is going to be right there. And based on the way they lost their games last year to Washington, I think there's a lot of Oregon fans that are like, hey, look, I think we were more talented than Washington. We should have won at least one of those games. So I think Dan Lanning's got a lot to prove. He would be one of those guys.
Remember how going into that Pac-12 championship game, it was almost a given Oregon was going to beat Washington this time? I mean,
they were 9.5-point favorites.
Yeah, we were just talking for weeks like Oregon will get them the second time. They should have beat them the first time. He continues in big games to make some really aggressive, sometimes questionable decisions.
Yeah, I think Josh Heupel's on this list. And just by this, when Josh Heupel did the job he did at Central Florida, there wasn't a lot of credit because it was a step back from what you got with Scott Frost. And Heupel had a really, really good year in 2022 with Tennessee. A team that, I say that, it was a great year until the very end.
That's right.
And if you would have beaten South Carolina, you're in the college football playoff, and you're a double-digit favorite. You lose that game. And then last year, to me, was a little disappointing when it came to Tennessee.
And you wonder, what he has at quarterback and Nico Amalieva. Is he going to be the guy?
I don't know if he's going to be as good as we saw with Hendon Hooker. He's going to be better than what you saw with Joe Milton.
I would agree with that. Can you give me Tennessee's schedule, Forrester? I'm interested because Alabama's is so difficult. Ole Miss's looks so friendly. I have a feeling Tennessee is somewhere in between there. Chattanooga's a gimme. NC State, week 2 in Charlotte. That's a tricky game.
It is.
Tricky game. Kent State's a gimme. Then they're at Oklahoma, at Arkansas, Florida at home. They host Alabama, host Kentucky, tricky. Mississippi State, at Georgia, UTEP, and then at Vandy. Not the worst. It's in between Ole Miss and Alabama, right?
Yeah, I would say. Yeah.
Could they get 10-2 out of that?
They could get 10-2. I think 9-3 is more likely your number. And 9-3, if I'm a Tennessee fan, you're on the brink of going to a college football playoff. Again, we talked about this last week. Vegas thinks Tennessee, with that schedule, has a better opportunity of cracking the top 12 and getting to a playoff than Alabama does. I've got about 7 guys on this list, though. If you were to...
Yeah, really quickly, I just wanted to say Oklahoma swings it. If Oklahoma ends up being better than everybody expects, they're going to swing a lot of these teams from having good years or bad years. You know what I mean?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Oklahoma pops up on a lot of people's schedule, and we're all picturing them being 7-5. If they're not 7-5, it's going to be Oklahoma's pretty good. They're going to throw some losses at some people.
Brent Venables is one of those guys. If it was anybody but Brent Venables, 6-7 in year 1, and then they win 10 games and they beat Texas last year, people would be like, "This is going in the right direction." Nobody believes Brent Venables is going to be able to back up that 10 wins. And Oklahoma is a job since Bob Stoops took it over, where obviously from Bob Stoops to Lincoln Riley, you should be able to win games. I know the transition to the SEC is going to be much more difficult than what you had in the Big 12, but I do think it is a big year for Brent Venables. You go 8-4, you're competitive in some of these losses. You beat 1 or 2 teams you're underdogs against. I think that's a fine year in Norman, year 1 in the SEC. But if you have another 6-7, people are going to be like, what the hell?
And I think people are projecting 7-5, though. Congratulations to he and his wife, Julie. Julie got a diagnosis cancer-free after the announcement last year that she was battling cancer. What a great deal yesterday in Norman. Who else is on your list?
Lane Kiffin, obviously. I mean, Lane Kiffin, you don't get to a college football playoff this year with that schedule. That's a problem. I think that will show you that Lane Kiffin is always going to be kind of a B coach. We mentioned Mario Cristobal. Billy Napier, the next Nick Saban.
I'm not even sure he is. I'm not even sure he's on a prove it list. He's on a hot seat. He's a getting fired guy.
First bold prediction a couple of weeks ago. Either he's your SEC Coach of the Year or he gets fired in season. He's got a lot to prove. James Franklin. I mean, when is this guy going to take the next step?
Still in the top 10, down 2 spots from 5 to 7 on Bruce's list, but still,
and I
top
don't know
7
why.
guy.
It's just like stuck in mud with James Franklin. Another guy, much like Lane Kiffin, cannot beat quality opponents.
Remember last year he was supposed to unseed one of them, Michigan or Ohio State, and he was back in his normal slot. They don't have divisions anymore. That's bad news, maybe, or it could be good news for Penn State.
Yeah, look, and Steve Sarkisian won a Big 12 last year. He got to a college football playoff, but I think you've got to be able to back that up with the expectations with Quinn Ewers coming back at quarterback. And then I would end this, a guy that we love, but you tell me the last time he's had a good year, and that's Matt Rule.
Matt Rule, but last time he had a good year was at Baylor, which got him the job with the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah, and
so you got to throw out the NFL. So tough with general managers and stuff. He's back. He's only been there 1 year.
I can't completely flush the NFL because this is a guy that got fired in season.
Yeah.
And again, I love Matt Rule. I do think they're going to be a lot better. Look, you do have, I don't want to call it an excuse, but I think there is a pass when Dylan Raiola is going to be starting at quarterback as a true freshman, more than likely. And a true freshman quarterback in the Big Ten usually doesn't equate to success. But I want to see some progression. I want to see them in really, really tight games and beating somebody they shouldn't and getting back to a bowl game.
But they were so bad at quarterback last year.
They were.
If they were mediocre at quarterback last year, they'd won 8 or 9 games. We'll talk to Clint Lamb about Alabama's practices that he has seen this week. And an interesting position change, or the way it all shakes out on the defensive side of the ball. Clint's got some good thoughts of that. If you're an Alabama fan, that's coming up in the next segment of the show, being brought to you by our friends at Rump Shaker, the great event that's coming up down at Regents Field to raise awareness for colon rectal cancer and the cure that we're fighting for.
Yeah, a lot of people might not realize colon cancer, second leading cause of cancer deaths in America. It affects men and women equally. If you're 45 or older, Rump Shaker encourages you to talk to your doctor about screening options that are available. Colon cancer is preventable, it's treatable, it's beatable. Early detection is the key. Go online, rumpshakerinc.org. You can learn more there. And also, don't forget about that 16th annual Rump Shaker 5K coming up Saturday, March 23rd at Regents Field. To learn more information about that, to get registered, go online today, rumpshakerinc.org.
Follow Brownie on Twitter and Instagram at Ryan Brown Live.
Legacy Credit Union has the ultimate game changer for your finances. With Engaged Checking, you can earn 3% APY on balances up to $15,000. You heard correctly, 3% APY. But it's not just about scoring with high yields. With Engaged Checking, you can get paid up to 2 days early. That means your paycheck, Social Security, tax refund, you name it, you get it early. So stop sitting on the sidelines and get in the game with Engaged Checking. Sign up today at legacycreditunion.com or visit any 9 Greater Birmingham area branches. APY is annual percentage yield. Terms and conditions may apply. See Credit Union for details. Federally insured by the NCUA. Let me introduce you to the new line of Red Wing athletic work shoes. This great new line is perfect for the industrial athlete, the guy who is working on concrete or running through the warehouse all day long. Red Wing Athletics use the same technology found in a running shoe, with soft mesh uppers, a lightweight aluminum toe for protection, and non-slip soles. This shoe is a winner. This comfortable new line of safety shoes are perfect for warehousing and light manufacturing. Plus, the colors look great. Stop by your local Red Wing shoe store, have your feet measured, and test drive a new pair of Red Wing athletic work shoes.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service.
What are you waiting for? It's non-stop gaming action at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Come play more than 900 of the latest and greatest games around, featuring fun bonuses and big jackpots. You can wager and win on horse and greyhound races from all over the world. There are more ways to win at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Birmingham Racecourse Casino, located off I-459, exit 31, Derby Parkway. Must be 21 or older.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about our friends at Gutter Cap. Gutter Cap's that patented aluminum cover system that fits over most existing gutters to keep out debris and eliminate that gutter cleaning. It's backed with a lifetime warranty, almost 20-year service record right here in Birmingham. Stay off that dangerous ladder forever. 45% off the retail price now if you call guttercapbirmingham.com. Call my good friend Chris Stewart now, 205-823-2212. Cap it, don't snap it. It's Gutter Cap.
It's time to pull the trigger on the Next Round merch that you've been eyeing. We know there's a lot to choose from at nextround.store, so here's a few of our favorite picks. If you want to match LT and Brown, go with the TNR logo hoodie and throw in one of Dunaway's favorite hats. Any of them will do. The Backroom's go-to is the classic logo t-shirt, while my personal favorite is the light blue TNR crew neck. All of these items can be found at nextround.store and are EG approved. Rest assured, your order will be packed with lots of love from us here at the Next Round. Head over to nextround.store to start filling up your cart.
Okay, we're about to talk to Clint Lamb about possibly the way Alabama's going to use some of their talent over there with a new look defense. He's with Bama Online over there, part of the On3 Sports family. Tell us about New York Butcher Shop first, LT, and then we'll talk to Clint.
I actually had an opportunity to go in and see our friend Jim at the Greystone location. I had a nice little conversation yesterday. I am actually going to pick up dinner a day early today from the New York Butcher Shop. Doing steaks tonight, so looking forward to that. But if you're looking for the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks, burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, all natural chicken cut to order just for you, their chef-prepared entree side dishes, perfect dinner-to-go choice for you and your family, ready to heat at home. Don't forget about those huge deli sandwiches and catering options for your next business lunch meeting with a great selection of fine wines and desserts. New York Butcher Shop, one-stop dinner shop, 2 locations, Cava Heights, Highway 119 in Greystone. New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service.
All right, Clint Lamb joins us now, Bama Online on 3 Sports. Clint, welcome back to the show, buddy. He's on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. Okay, so practices are open. Had a chance to talk a little defense yesterday. And when you're talking to Freddie Roach and those guys and Kane Womack, you start to hear about this defense. And there's one guy in particular that sort of caught your interest in Keeley. Tell me and the Bama fans that big talent in Keeley, what you think and how they're going to use him this year and what you got from being at practice.
First of all, appreciate you guys having me. It's interesting with Keeley because I still think he has some growing to do. Like when you look at him technically and just, the nuances of playing the position, I still think he's growing as a player. Didn't play hardly at all last year. There was a reason for that. He didn't enroll early, but, extremely talented, former top 5, top 10 talent in the country for a reason. He's got all the physical tools that you could possibly want in a pass rusher or edge player. And in the previous defense, you have 3-4 principles. He's more viewed as an outside linebacker, even though you don't want him dropping into coverage much. I would say in an ideal situation to be playing like a 4-3 base end. And in this new defense, you're going to have the bandit, which is essentially going to be that. He needs to be a bigger body guy, kind of Justin Aboybe-esque, like Aboybe was that heavy end for Alabama last year. But the main difference between what Nick Saban did and what Womack will do is, Nick wanted to move those heavy ends inside on passing downs. And the bandit in this new defense, if it's possible, you want to leave him as an edge on all 3 downs. And so Keeley will have that opportunity where he can play that position. You don't have to worry about him playing Wolf, which is an outside linebacker, off-ball linebacker hybrid, where he's going to be playing about 33%, about a third of his snaps off the ball. You don't want Keeley doing that. So I'd had questions as to whether, where exactly he would fit in the defense. You thought maybe he could be a sub-package player. But with him actually playing bandit, he has the frame to continue to add weight. He's probably around 245, 250-esque right now. I'd probably like to see him get up to 260, 265, but he's going to have opportunities to put his hand in the dirt, get after the quarterback. If you're going to play that bandit position, the fact they want heavier body guys, the reason is for that is you want to be able to stop the run effectively. So he's got to be able to prove that he's a balanced defensive lineman, but he's, tons of talent, and I think he's going to end up having some opportunities, whether it be situationally early on or if he ends up being a full-time guy later on. I still think he's got a lot of talent, and I think that with Freddie Roach and him kind of switching positions and now having Freddie as his position coach, I think he could be an impact player for Alabama, maybe even as soon as this season.
All right, Clint, with you and other media members there, let's talk about the atmosphere as a whole. We were actually at the facilities last week. We were talking to Kalen DeBoer about a story that he doesn't cuss. It kind of went viral. And there were reports blaring music, but it was radio edit hip hop. Did you notice that yourself?
I did notice it. It took a while for me to notice it. You hear it, but there's so much going on. And I will say, just being at practice, getting to see everything, it was kind of tough to see the quarterbacks and the receivers. They were kind of on the far side of the field, the running back, some of those offensive skill positions. But you could see everything else. But you got 1,000 things you're trying to focus on, and it's the first time we've been at practice in forever. And so, I noticed the music immediately, but it took a while for me to notice that it was clean music, which, I think if you're going to have media members out there, filming things and, you're going to take that approach, you probably don't want them posting videos with a bunch of cuss words and stuff in the background. Probably not a great look for the program. I don't know what other colleges do. I've never paid attention much on that front, but I think, it wasn't surprising by any means. In fact, once I started to think about it, it kind of fit.
Yeah. What was surprising to me is some fans' reaction on social media was, "Oh no, man, they're playing music during practice, blah, blah." Oh, it wouldn't have happened that way under Nick Saban. And I know it's different, but how loud is it at games? I'm happy for the noise. I mean, pump everything you can in there all the time. Get used to the distractions.
That's exactly right. I mean, you want to simulate that as much as you possibly can, and it's very difficult to simulate, but you want, even in a practice environment, like practice makes perfect. If you do it right during practice, if you can communicate effectively during practice, that can carry over to the games, and it will carry over to the games. And so the goal is to constantly have some sort of noise being pumped in where you can't, it's not super clear what a coach is screaming at you for or telling you to do or whatever, but you got to be able to remain calm, process the information that's being given, communicate effectively with others. And I think that only helps you when it comes to game-like atmosphere. So it might not be the music choice for some people. Nick, if he would have done something like that, you probably would have heard a lot of Eagles. But it's a new era of college football, and I mean everybody knows. I think one thing about Kalen DeBoer and really the entire coaching staff is they know how to connect with the players. And I'm not saying that Nick Saban didn't; he absolutely did. But it's this new wave of players is a lot different than the ones that Nick Saban was coaching for most of his, coaching career. So it's different, and it's something that people will have to adjust to. But I have no issues with the music. I think it will actually be beneficial, and the players seem to enjoy it.
BamaOnline.com, BamaOnline.com On3 Sports. Clint Lamb is the Alabama football analyst for Bama Online. He's with us on the JohnsonRVCenter.com hotline. Give me some other players that may fit better into the 4-2-5 and the way Womack will run things. I saw Tony Mitchell moving around out there. I thought he looked good. Some guys that you think maybe this change may fit them a little bit better.
Yeah, so, in Nick Saban's defense, you had the jack linebacker, which is really a weak side defensive end. It's going to be your primary pass rusher, playing opposite the Sam, which is your strong side linebacker. Then you had positions like Star, which is that kind of, a Sam linebacker replacement, strong side linebacker replacement, got a safety, hybrid that needs to be able to play up closer to the line of scrimmage, needs to be able to stop the run effectively. And then, so with those two positions, those were the two that kind of from a name perspective was different than a lot of other teams. With Womack and what he likes to do, you've got the Husky, you've got the Wolf, you've got the Rover. The Rover's essentially a strong safety. You've got the Husky position, which is that safety linebacker hybrid, very similar to the Star position. And so you needed to have a bigger bodied safety who kind of acts as an undersized linebacker, but because he's going to be replacing one of the linebackers up in the box, but he's also got to have plus cover ability as far as being able to, line up over the slot and things like that. And then you've got the Wolf, which is, like I said, is kind of that pass rusher, off-ball linebacker hybrid that's going to be playing, mostly on the line of scrimmage. You want him to be one of, if not your best pass rushers, but you also need to have a guy who's comfortable, lining up off the ball and dropping into coverage a little bit. And And so it's new, it's different. I think Tony Mitchell, it was tailor-made for that Husky position, 6'2", 205, really has the build and the physicality of a slightly undersized linebacker, but he's got, with his corner history in high school and the fact that he played safety, he's got a lot of plus cover traits, and so I think he's perfect for that position. I don't know if he'll play there. He could play rover, which is that strong safety role, but he's a guy that I'm keeping an eye on. As far as the Wolf is concerned, I think there are a number of guys who can play it. I think there's a reason. First of all, you don't want Keeley dropping into coverage or lining up off the ball a lot, so it made sense that they made the move to ban it for him. But you also got a loaded up Wolf position. Yanze Pierre, former 5-star, Quandarius Robinson, former top 100 player, Russo, 5-star player. Coate was a borderline 5-star talent. So it continues to be loaded. But I also think as far as your linebackers, you also got the stinger, which is the weak side linebacker. Between Mike and Will, having Jahad Campbell and Deontay Lawson, Alabama probably has the best off-ball linebacker duo in all of college football. And those guys in this defense, they're going to be able to roam, get sideline to sideline, hit people. Womack didn't really blitz his off-ball linebackers a ton at South Alabama, but I think that was more out of the skill sets of his players. And what we saw from Lawson and Campbell this past season, you want to have them getting after the quarterback. So I think Womack and company are going to be able to be a lot more creative in where they send pressure and how they send pressure. And I think that's going to make the defense very versatile and very effective. But really at all three levels, you got impact players who can do some great things. I love Jordan Renaud. He's another bandit candidate. Really like his fit as far as being able to survive out there on all three downs. Power profile, extremely strong, should hold up against the run, but also can convert speed to power as a pass rusher and be very effective getting after the quarterback. And so I think they got, a lot of good candidates at these positions.
Flipping to offense, and speaking of the quarterbacks, when you watch the four guys throw yesterday, we were told just a couple of days ago, when you see Austin Mack, you guys are going to be wowed just with his physical size. Did that stand out to you?
Yes, absolutely. We had heard about it, and we know that Kalen DeBoer likes those bigger body quarterbacks, those taller quarterbacks. Austin Mack is a different bird than even your typical bigger quarterback. I mean, just the height alone stands out, and he looks a little bit lean. When you're 6'6", I mean, you're going to look a little lean unless you weigh 250 pounds like Cam Newton. But he's kind of got that Joe Flacco build, but he's got some mobility. You saw him move around a little bit yesterday. I was impressed with the mobility. I was impressed with the arm strength on the limited that I saw. I mean, we're not going to get to see a ton, but I thought that, he looked impressive physically. I thought a guy like Daniel Hill at running back was extremely impressive as far as his size. Very thickly built running back, looks more like an outside linebacker. Not quite Derrick Henry as far as length and height, but certainly has a really good build and moved extremely well. But getting back to the quarterbacks, it's going to be an interesting conversation all offseason because I think Jalen Milroe showed enough last year where he should be the assumed starter. But I think that when you have a coaching change, you're going to have some opportunities for some other guys, and Alabama has talent in that room. So the good part about that is Jalen Milroe can't get complacent. He's got to continue to push forward because there's a lot of guys who are going to be gunning for that job, and he seemed to thrive in that environment last year as far as being doubted and thriving in that competition, getting better over the course of the season. And so I would expect that to continue, but it's a loaded quarterback room like at a lot of positions. And I think when you look at Kalen DeBoer and the fact that he's kind of known as being a quarterback developer, that bodes really well, whether it ends up being Austin Mack, Jalen Milroe, Ty Simpson, or anybody else.
All right, Clint Lamb with us, Bama Online on 3 Sports. We always appreciate the time. Interesting breakdown about the defense and how that personnel is going to fit. You can follow Clint there on all the social media platforms, Bama Online, to get his thoughts on some offense as they become available spring break and then into the heart of spring practices coming up. Clint, man, thanks for the time. I appreciate it very much.
Absolutely, fellas. Good talking to you guys.
All right, Clint Lamb with us there, Bama Online, part of the On 3 Sports family there. The show being brought to you in part today by a couple of great folks, including our Sports Betting Alliance, as they're getting things ready in Montgomery, maybe to make a push to get the lottery here in Alabama and some other things.
Yeah, trying to get the sports gaming back on the bill. Just a couple of days ago, the Senate committee removed sports betting from the gaming bill that voters will decide on this fall. That means Alabama sports fans will not have the chance to vote for themselves on legalized sports betting in the state. But the fight isn't over yet. Sports betting can still be reinserted when the bill goes to conference with the House, who previously supported sports betting with an overwhelming vote. More than 4,000 Alabamians have already contacted their legislator to tell them they won't legalize sports betting in Alabama, but we need more. If you've already reached out to your senator or representative, do it again. If you haven't, now is the time. Make sure your voice is heard. SportsBettingAlliance.org, paid for by the Sports Betting Alliance. Again, here's the number you can call and tell them to vote yes, 334-261-0800. That's 334-261-0800 or SportsBettingAlliance.org.
Royal, I agree with you. It'll be interesting to see what any of the quarterbacks end up transferring to, as that will become a very fluid room when spring practice is over and the portal opens up once again. A lot more Alabama and Auburn spring as Auburn's spring break right now as we move throughout towards the A-Day games on both campuses coming up the first couple of weekends in April. One more thing in this segment, and this will be our Way to Wellness food moment of the day. Forrester's got a graphic he's going to show you in just a second from The Hustle. I get this newsletter. You said yesterday during our Clay interview, LT, that he made a proclamation about bananas a few years ago.
Yeah, Rocky, you might remember this. I thought it was very interesting. He said that there was something with the banana. I don't know if it was part of the ecosystem, but the banana population had really started to dwindle. And there was a theory that bananas were going to be extinct in a certain amount of years. Do you remember this?
Yes, I remember back in the day. This is back in the old job days where he just nonchalantly said this. And I also remember
it was when we were in the downstairs studio, so we were only a year or two deep with
but he said, like,
current
it was going to be within the decade that the bananas were going to be
gone.
No more bananas.
Well, I did see a video of a monkey yesterday. I'm getting these monkey algorithms too, the little bitty ones. I don't know why, but the monkey was eating a bag of peanut M&Ms and destroying them. So he was going non-traditional banana.
But
it's non-traditional.
Bananas, by the way, bananas have never been over $1 a pound. Here's the graphic from The Hustle. Banana, actually the cheapest fruit out there. There's so many bananas that the average price is 62 cents a pound. You can buy an individual banana for 19 cents at a place like Trader Joe's. So, I mean, look at the others. Oranges, $1.55. Grapefruit, $1.71 a pound. $2.08 a pound for lemon. I really think that goes because of why? Alcoholic drinks.
Well, I think the lemon is not consumed. The lemon is just kind of a side cart on a drink or squeezed into it.
So we're flying through them.
Yes, well, I think we're flying through them, but at the same time, I guess that's what it is. Fruit is so much more expensive than like fast food, but do you think you could live just on bananas?
I think it's good. I couldn't live on it.
What about if that was part of the bracket challenge? You had to go a week, you could eat nothing but bananas.
Could be banana flavor, like banana muffins, banana bread.
It's got to just be straight up bananas. Do you think it would affect your health in a good or bad way, and what would it do to your body?
Oh, I don't know. We'd need to check medical professionals there. I just thought it was crazy that there's so many bananas, the prices have never rose, and he was projecting they were going to be non-existent anymore.
Well, it wasn't a Clay thing. It was an article because we pulled the article and we went through it. It was an article that he had read. Look, it's not the first time that people have been wrong on something. Yeah. Hey, one day the banana won't be around. I don't know if it's going to be 100 million years, but...
Big in culinary, too, that guy 7399. So if you're cooking, you do a lot of lemon squeezing and flavor and shavings and stuff like that.
Especially with the seafood.
That little food update brought to you by our friends at Way to Wellness. We got Rockstars 4 Downs when we come back, and then we'll talk a little LSU football in the final hour of the show and some SEC football. All that's still to come today. But Way to Wellness wants 2024 to be the year you get into the best shape ever. Why not join Leslie and her board-certified team right there on your screen now? Down at Way to Wellness, you just go to their website, aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. You'll find out there are no sign-up fees, no contracts, and that first consultation's free. So you can find out what the plan's all about and talk to Leslie about what they can do for you without ever having to spend a penny. Just get the details right there. Aplanforme.com. It's Way to Wellness, your journey to healthy living. Rockstars 4 Downs when we come back.
Follow Dunaway on Twitter and Instagram at Jim Dunaway.
This hour of the next round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service.
Take TNR on the go with a podcast built for your satisfaction. Miss Hour 1, find it in podcast form. Miss Hour 2, stream it now. Miss Hour 3, download it for later. Miss Hour 4, well, just know it's never coming back. Listen to TNR wherever you find podcasts.
Sports fans, Alabama State Senate will soon decide if you get the right to vote on a lottery, casinos, and sports betting. But they need to hear from you. Did you know Alabama is one of only 12 states where you can't legally bet on sports? House Bill 151 allows you to choose whether you can place a bet on the big game this weekend. Call your state senator today. Tell them to vote yes on the lottery and gaming bill. For more information, go to sportsbettingalliance.org. It's paid for by the Sports Betting Alliance. Again, sportsbettingalliance.org.
You got to look your best to play your best, and our friends at Bandwagon can help your team find the perfect uniforms for that upcoming season. Bandwagon is with you every step of the way, from developing your team logo design to choosing from their multitude of samples. You name the sport, they can make it happen. To get your uniform journey started, you can shoot them a message on any social media platform or check out their website, bandwagonsports.com. That's bandwagonsports.com. Next round listeners, it's time to jump on the bandwagon.
Did you know that colon cancer is the second leading cause of cancer deaths in America and that it affects men and women equally? If you're older than 45, Rump Shaker encourages you to talk to your doctor about screening options that are available. Colon cancer is preventable, treatable, and beatable, but early detection is the key. For more information, please visit us. Go to rumpshakerinc.org. Also, 6th Annual Rump Shaker 5K coming up Saturday, March 23rd at Regents Field. You can register online, rumpshakerinc.org.
Just because you've quit going to the gym, it doesn't mean that you have to quit gym altogether. Dunaway, that is. With our Next Round podcasts open 24/7, 365, you can access Jim anytime you'd like. While you may have done away with your treadmill routine, our version of Dunaway is standing by, ready to get you back to your absolute best. Find all that lovely Jimmy D-led content on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and in the podcast section of nextroundlive.com. This message is sponsored by Jimmy Crypto Inc. and Jimmy Crypto for President.
You guys don't understand behind the glass how lucky you are. The cross that Taylor Korn has to bear, because Taylor and I are mybookie.ag guys, and we love to make parlay bets. So all the time.
Biggest sucker bet in the world, by the way.
When parlays hit, we're sending them back and forth, and I've nailed 3 of 4 this week, and including Tennessee last night. And I was just a half point from being 4 for 4 on my parlays this week.
Oh, man.
But Taylor gets the screen grab every night.
Anytime you don't want to do it, I've been out of the bookie profession for a long time, but I'm willing to hold any of your stuff.
All this conversation, LT, to get you to our friends at mybookie.ag, the promo code next round, you sign on bonus there, you win it once, and it's yours forever, and you can sit there and enjoy the games. You can bet the player props, the over-unders, everything right there. It is mybookie.ag. Mybookie.ag. The promo code is next round. That sign-up bonus is there. Go check it out. It's a wonderful way to enjoy some contest. Rockstar gives us our 4 downs today. Away from sports, it's brought to you by Slice. LT will tell us about Slice when we're done with 4 downs, but let's start it off. It's non-sports questions with Rockstar. It's a great list today, and it starts with
First Down.
What has become so expensive that you have stopped buying it? One of the things I thought of, I used to enjoy, I had a little, just after COVID, I had a stint of getting smoothies. And I found out when you go to a smoothie place, if you get just a medium, it was like $10 or $11. And do you want a tip? Do you want to do a tip for this? And it's just like, I can't do this every day. I can't do a smoothie every day.
You know how you can get out of the tips on the non-traditional people that shouldn't get tipped. Pay cash.
But also, they are making your like, but still, it is their job. It's hard to. I'm just going to ask you a question before you.
Yeah, but if you give them 15 and your change is like $237, you just leave them the $237.
Yeah, but
I said this again yesterday. I think I've talked about this. Paper towels are so expensive. You got to continue to buy paper towels, though. I don't go out so we were going out to eat literally 7 nights a week. I would look at my Amex bill. And 28 of 30 days, I was probably going out to eat. So I pulled back because we're enjoying cooking more. But just going out to eat, you can go to Ghetto Mex place now and have like a margarita in the most basic dish. And if there's 4 of you, you're spending $100.
Yeah, dialing back eating out.
But what percentage of eating out also do you do for lunch?
Oh, see, that's a lot. I mean,
so you do lunch and dinner.
See, I don't. I mean, I really don't eat lunch anymore. I'll eat lunch once or twice a week, but I used to bring the Lunchables, which I don't do anymore. So I'm having a core power and not fasting. I'm just having a core power in a bar.
Yeah, but I will occasionally eat 2 out. I used to eat a lot more steak than I do now. The meat prices have gone way up, so I choose to go to New York Butcher when I get my steaks now. Instead of going to the grocery store. When I go for steak, I go for the best quality ones, and I don't eat them as much as I used to, so I pared that back a little bit as well. But a lot of things are really, really high priced right now.
Second down.
It's a weird question, I know, but it's interesting. What is under your bed?
By the way, DB King's right. Wings is another thing. I used to get wings all the time. But do you remember, like, was it quarter wing night, dime wing night?
Dime wing night.
Yeah, I remember
like
that.
Monday night football used to be a must, like for all of your friends. And I don't know what happened to Monday night football viewing, but it used to be such an event. Everybody would go to a different sports bar, and sports bars were trying to top themselves. 10 wings for $1.
Yeah.
10 wings they're a damn $1 a piece now.
Yeah, that's exactly.
And this isn't like back in the
more than $1 a piece.
the Prohibition days. This was just 10, 15 years ago.
Okay, I'm sorry. What was the question again?
What is under your bed?
Literally nothing. Like maybe dust occasionally. If we're doing a deep clean, then under the bed gets clean. But there is absolutely not one thing under my bed.
The reason I ask is my wife has those big Rubbermaid plastic bins just full of clothes. Like, these are winter clothes that I just don't have room for in the closet, and you shove them under the bed. You can't put your hand anywhere under the bed without touching one of these Rubbermaid plastic things.
We used to do that.
What changed?
I don't know where all those clothes
probably
went.
have closet space
we've got a storage unit now, which is a waste of money, but we have one. I don't run the house. We have 2 sensors because we have a remote adjustable bed, right? We have 2 sensors under there, and occasionally there's a dog toy or 2 that will get under there.
Does anybody
but this is the first time, this bed that we have now is the first time we have it under the bed, because we were the big sleigh bed family for a long time of our marriage. We had a full bed that did not have an under the bed area, and you had to pull the mattress off, jump into this wooden thing, and then unhook it. And if you were moving it, Let me guess, another Maggie idea? It was. That was an early marriage purchase.
Is that storage right
We
now?
ended up selling that thing.
Okay, well, you see it on TV. Does anybody know anybody that keeps like the baseball bat or the hockey stick under the bed for an intruder?
I think there's a lot of people that have
a gun in the nightstand or something.
Yeah,
like
have a gun at the nightstand that's got their fingerprints on it. Or there's even some people that just have the gun there. But yeah, I think that's still a thing.
Still a thing.
Third down.
When you were growing up, what were some of the things that the rich kids had? Mine was the G.I. Joe Battleship. The thing was this big, and it was like $100.
That before, I don't really remember. I was a little out of I remember the G.I. Joe with the legit kung fu grip, where they had the different colored beards and stuff that was like a real fur.
Battleship was probably 86.
To me, this is about the same time in television. Like, all the poor kids had Atari, the 2600s. If you had the Intellivision, that was kind of the next level. And I only had 2 friends that had the Intellivision.
I don't even know what the Intellivision is.
Oh, it was just a basic game console. We probably can pull a picture of the Intellivision. I remember the Intellivision football and baseball were so much fun, and they were so much better than what Atari 2600 had. But there was a day at the Riches at Brookwood Mall, which turned into a Macy's, which is now nothing, which is amazing. That mall is completely barren. Saw it again the other day when we were at the chili cook-off.
Yeah, I think they're about to level it.
But Riches had a candy aisle, like where you could go get like gourmet candy by the bag, by the pound, whatever. And then right next to it was the electronics where you could buy TVs, but they would always have a console where you could actually play the game and test it out.
I remember seeing that.
Yeah, so parents are out shopping, and then they would come back and the kids begging for the console. But the one that they would always promote was the Intellivision. But I could never afford the Intellivision, but that was what the rich kid, there it is right there.
Yeah, okay. I see that now. I remember that.
Like literally a remote, like it's got numbers on it.
Well, it was more complicated than the old joystick you had with the 2600.
You look like you got a good 6 inches of cord too.
But I think I had 3 rich friends growing up, or what we deemed rich back then, and 2 of the 3 had the Mattel Intellivision.
See, I'm old enough to remember that only certain neighborhoods got cable to start with.
Yep.
And we lived in unincorporated Alabaster. We were on Smoky Road, so we were not on the first run of anything, especially cable. So you lived, if you were in Rick Long's neighborhood, if you were in Navajo Hills, you had cable before everybody else. Wow. And I was like,
but that family has a big ass satellite dish.
Crazy.
I was like, yeah, man, cable. My Uncle Steve had a satellite dish, and we would occasionally be at his house, and he'd dial up a hockey game, on Satcom 3, transponder 17. We'd watch a little hockey or something.
That was another thing. I had a friend that had the full satellite dish. And that was a rich purchase back in the day.
Oh, yeah. And he would make me turn around while he dialed it onto Satcom 3, transponder 17, because you may have the Red Wings and the Rangers on Satcom 3, transponder 17.
You were begging for Lady Chatterley.
On transponder 12, 13, 14 to get to 17, it was pouring, hockey.
Well,
who wants hockey?
You talk about there were certain neighborhoods that could have cable. My neighborhood now, and you guys know where I live, there is only one internet provider in that neighborhood. They've got a complete monopoly on it. Because, I went to Verizon back in November, and they were like, first of the year, you're going to be able to get this cube. We're going to switch you out, do all this stuff. Because I went to Verizon the other day. I thought it would be neat because I think the cell phone looks so much better with no cover on it. I don't know if you agree with that.
You got your light on.
I know. But I dropped it finally the other day, and my phone is destroyed. So I got a new phone coming today, but when I went in to get a new phone, I decided to shop around. And apparently T-Mobile is by far outside of cricket back there. Shout out Tyler. But I still can't get another internet provider in my neighborhood. How is that possible in 2024?
Some people want fiber. Like we're not eligible for fiber. Like why not? Well,
I didn't have fiber in my old neighborhood. So
4th down.
I've asked it before, but I think it's a good question. Let's kind of amp it up a little. What is included in your perfect sandwich? Now, I'll suggest this asterisk, something that you could have. You could have this sandwich almost every day and not tire of it.
So I had it twice yesterday.
That's a good start.
Got home for a late lunch and then had it before Odie's. But it was toasted rye. I'm not a big rye fan, but it was just enough rye where it had that good taste. Ugh. This would not be a go-to, but yesterday it was fantastic. But the go-tos on the sandwich, which were included yesterday, the Tillamook cheese, the Duke's mayo, and sliced pickles. And it is absolutely fantastic.
What's your meat?
Yesterday was turkey.
Okay.
I like my meat on the side. I say my pickles on the side. I like my pickles on the side.
Have you ever done it on the sandwich? Though?
I have. Chicken. I've done it before. Hamburgers, of course, but
I'm talking about just straight up sandwich. If you did the longer, really thin sliced pickles,
they're what are they called? They're called
spears.
The sandwiches. They're sliced thin to lay on sandwiches. I've had those before. But I don't want a pickle in every bite. I like the mayo. I like the bacon. I had one at Bent Brook yesterday, the golf course. I had a club sandwich, toasted wheat, and then they made me a club sandwich. The ladies back there, it was really, really good.
Do you have a go-to cheese? Kraft does not count. Kraft is shit.
I like the Kraft. Yeah, I'm not Tillamook everything now. I like the Kraft. It's good with me. It's fine. I like that. It's good.
I've grown into pepper jack. I used to hate it, but I've grown into pepper jack. I am slowly.
I don't know
evolving.
why you get so upset that I say that about Tillamook.
Because you get upset and you call my cheese, what'd you call
I didn't know you had Kraft. I just said Kraft shed.
Yeah.
Wait, it's not. Is Kraft even cheese, Rocky?
It's a cheese product.
Yeah, it's not even cheese.
It's on the label.
Scott, the Hamburger Heaven Club is the truth. Yes.
Oh, it's unbelievable.
I love those folks.
That every day would get you down.
Well, I didn't know. I'm going to bring up Kraft more. You got a lot of hot buttons.
No,
I didn't realize Kraft was one of them.
No, you're hot button today. You're the guy today. You're pressing the hot buttons. You're talking about my cheese. What else were you talking about earlier? Probably one of my coaches that you were talking about earlier. I wasn't in favor of the Mike Tyson fight.
And that was 4 downs.
Yeah, 4 downs brought to you by our friends.
Didn't know that was a hot button, too.
Tell us about our friends at Slice.
Do you like cheese substance, though? Like, instead of a true cheese, do you like just a cheese product?
We do eat some real cheeses at the house, but on my sandwich, I'm okay with pulling the Kraft single out.
You know what they've got at Slice? They've got real cheese on their pizzas. Local pizza, local ingredients, fantastic. From the Hot Mama, the Soul Pie, you're going to love it. Get in and see the Bajalia Brothers, 4 great locations. Soon to be that 5th location in Homewood. We will tell you more when that opens. Go online, slicebirmingham.com.
Listen, I love Maddie almost as much as you do. I think she has changed your diet a little bit. I think she's got you with higher quality cheese. I think you were a Kraft single guy back in the day.
Don't know what you're talking about. I've been Tillamook for a long time. I've been talking about it on the show. I know that Kraft is an upgrade from the government cheese you guys used to stand in line for back in the day.
Exactly. But when you used to make your grilled cheeses, was it not the Kraft cheeses that you would throw on there?
I've used Kraft. I think everybody's used Kraft. I'm just saying, when Tillamook became mainstream, which has probably been a decade ago, or maybe even more, that is kind of the go-to cheese now. So
I've never even heard of Tillamook until Brown got me hooked on their ice cream sandwich.
Oh, they got great ice cream.
Yeah, they got, all their products.
Chocolate peanut butter.
Yeah. I'd never even heard of them until Brown had me looking at looking for their ice cream sandwiches one day, and I brought them back up here for everybody. We'll talk a little LSU football and SEC football in the next segment. LT's got our trash today. Show being brought to you by the wonderful folks at Johnson RV, family owned up there. Nick and the guys are absolutely tremendous, and they'll take care of you. They have so many things in the Coleman and Decatur locations just off I-65. The show pricing continuing, I think, until the weekend. So today and tomorrow, you can still get the RV show pricing, which are fabulous deals with Nick and the guys there. Lifetime warranty. They have really competitive financing if you want to do that. If you are a military family, served our great country, they have special discounts set aside for you. You can get all the details at johnsonrvcenter.com, johnsonrvcenter.com, and they're celebrating 10 years of that kind of service for you. Wonderful folks right there. Check them out online, johnsonrvcenter.com, johnsonrvcenter.com.
Call the next round now at 205-734-0923.
There are so many things I love about walk-ons. Authentic, mouth-watering Louisiana cuisine, prepared fresh, daily from scratch. A great beer selection and TVs everywhere to watch the big game every day of the week. And of course, they've got 2 great locations on Highway 280 and 119 and at Hoover near the Hoover Met. Walk-ons is also a great place for happy hour, 2 to 6 Monday through Friday with $5 moonshine swirls, $5 house pours, and half-price appetizers. And it's an easy take-home experience for the family as well. Highway 280 and Hoover with walk-ons. Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
You never know what we're up to here at the Next Round. The easiest way to stay in the know with our antics and adventures is to follow the Next Round across all social media platforms at Next Round Live on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Whether it's Dunaway sleeping in the studio, Tim and Lunsford breaking down the latest movie release, or Game Day Chronicles, we are here to keep you updated on the latest sports news while, of course, having just a little bit of fun. Follow at Next Round Live across all platforms to join in.
You got to look your best to play your best, and our friends at Bandwagon can help your team find the perfect uniforms for that upcoming season. Bandwagon is with you every step of the way, from developing your team logo design to choosing from their multitude of samples. You name the sport, they can make it happen. To get your uniform journey started, you can shoot them a message on any social media platform or check out their website, bandwagonsports.com. That's bandwagonsports.com. Next Round listeners, it's time to jump on the bandwagon.
Hey, for all of your IT and printing needs, reach out to our friends at Xerox Business Solutions. Look, I'm still one of those old school guys. I print my notes every single day for the show. If you watch the show here on the Next Round, you see all the notes in front of me. From day one, Xerox Business Solutions, they've been with us here at the Next Round. Local for over 45 years. For all of your IT and printing needs, visit XeroxBusinessSolutions.com or call 205-969-3000. That's 205-969-3000.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Final hour of the show. We'll talk to Matt Moscona coming up here in a little bit about LSU football and the race in the SEC and the new teams that are coming in. The show being brought to you this hour by our friends at Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken, Highway 119 in Alabaster. Sterling and the crew about 4 minutes ago opened those doors. But they've been working overnight to make sure you have a great lunch because they brine that chicken overnight. They cook it to order. The big two-breast guy that I am and all the wonderful sides there is Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken. Also, those Mississippi Delta recipe tamales. I always like to start that off with an appetizer. And you get 3 of those and some coleslaw and then get into the main meal. It is fantastic right there. Hand-cut chicken fingers. Champy'sChicken.com, Highway 119 in Alabaster. And also right now, a great time to learn more about some of the legislation that's making it through the great state of Alabama involving sports gaming and what you can do to try to help out before it's too late.
Yeah, unfortunately, a little hurdle. A couple of days ago, Senate committee removed sports betting for the gaming bill that voters will decide on this fall. That means Alabama sports fans will not have the chance to vote for themselves on legalized sports betting in the state. But the fight is not over. Sports betting can still be reinserted when the bill goes to conference with the House, who previously supported sports betting with an overwhelming vote. More than 4,000 Alabamians have already contacted their legislator to tell them they won't legalize sports betting in Alabama, but we need more. If you've already reached out to your state senator or representative, now is the time to do it again. Make sure your voice is heard now. Here's the number, 334-261-0800, 334-261-0800, sportsbettingalliance.org, paid for by the Sports Betting Alliance.
All right, so we're getting to a point in college football where this change in Tuscaloosa is starting to split people. Some think that Kalen DeBoer will work. Some do not. We will see when they get on the field. He does have some talent. Rockstar, give me cut number 4. Deontay Lawson is back. By the way, he's wearing jersey 0. He drops the 32. Nick Saban, I don't know if it was, they didn't have zeros.
0 is such a weird number to wear.
For 2 years, it's been eligible to wear, and Alabama didn't have one. So Deontay.
Do you think numbers meant more to players back in the day? I don't know if you ever saw the bad movie The Fan with Wesley Snipes, but he wanted to buy Benicio del Toro's number and he wouldn't sell it to him, so Robert De Niro ended up cutting it off of him.
That's a great movie, too.
Deontay Lawson at practice after practice yesterday, talking about the switch to Kalen DeBoer and now Kane Womack as the defensive coordinator. Here's Agent Zero.
A little frozen. Give me a second.
Okay, we'll get back to that in just a second as soon as we get that. Oh, here we go.
How's been the transition like from Coach DeBoer? What was his first conversation with you?
First conversation was just try to keep the guys together. We just had to adapt.
it was definitely challenging coming in, but now I think we're getting adjusted and everything is moving good.
What's Coach Warmack been like to work for? Obviously, he was a head coach, comes down, kind of accepts that role of being the defensive coordinator. What have been your early impressions of him as a coach?
Yeah, great guy, great coach, has a lot of energy, and, I love to play for a guy like that, and, he's flying around at practice with us, and we all love that.
Okay, so everyone's at practice now, and this guy is a stud last year, and to have him back, you heard Clint Lamb talk earlier about the linebackers in Tuscaloosa. It's a good group there, and he's one of the better ones in the conference.
Oh, yeah, I think linebackers is going to be a strength. Last year it seemed like the strength was the secondary. There's a big question mark with the secondary, but going into this, I mean, if there's one unit that jumps out as the strength of this team, I think it probably is linebackers.
Linebackers are really good. So that's Alabama football yesterday. We'll talk LSU football coming up in a second. One rule was changed by the commissioners this week. They did move the signing period. And I understand we were moving it from when the signing period was, the early signing period in December was going to be the Wednesday of the first round of the playoffs, but now we moved it to the Wednesday before the conference championship games. We still haven't moved it out of some important time of the year. What do you think about this move?
Well, again, I mean, maybe it's easier on the coaches. I don't know how if you're involved in that game, but as far as a fan's perspective, we talked about how exciting it used to be when we had that one day in February. And now when you're getting ready for the SEC championship game, maybe it's not going to be nearly as big that we've got a 12-team playoff. We have kind of talked about that. Conference championship games aren't going to be as big. But back in the day, that was a massive game, and that was the only focus for college football fans.
They did do one thing yesterday that I really liked. They did not sign off on or really get into a vote on the third signing period, having one back in the summer, which I think would really disrupt the senior year of high school football. So they did not decide about that. They're going to push that off till they can get some more information. I just hope eventually we go back to one signing period in February where that could really make things a lot better for us and just get back to one signing period. I think that'd make the calendar better for the coaches. Don't forget on the show tomorrow at 9 a.m. Central Time. I'm really excited about this. I wish he would be in studio with us, but tomorrow at 9 a.m. Central Time, we get Oz the Mentalist that's going to be on the show tomorrow. He'll start our show off at 9 a.m. Central Time. Are you...
He's going to turn Kraft cheese into real cheese.
Yeah. I watch him at NFL camps. I'm not always a believer. I can't wait to see this happen in person.
Again, I'm not either. I don't know how it's done, but if you see it that many times from Detroit to Cincinnati to America's Got Talent, I don't know how he does it. Do you feel like if he is coming after you, you're going to be able to reverse mind trick him? And he's like if he asks me about an animal, I've already got an animal in mind that he ain't going to be able to get.
Oh, so you're almost preparing for this exam tomorrow.
I've got an animal in my head that he can't get.
Oz the Mentalist on the show tomorrow to start us off at 9 a.m. Central Time. Let's get to our man, Matt Moscona, who is the host of After Further Review, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, Lafayette, Lake Charles, basically all over the great state of Louisiana. We always appreciate Matt, who's kind with his time. He knew I was under the rock this week with Ryan Brown on vacation. I don't do a lot of booking, and Matt said, man, I'll help you out, and he jumps on with us now. Welcome back to the show, Matt. Thank you so much for spending time with us today. How are you doing?
Matt, you're muted.
I got you muted right now. You're muted. Can you hit the unmute? There we go.
My apologies, guys. Always happy to be on. Sorry, I'm in the car, so you got the sunroof view and the side of a gas station, but happy to be on. Thanks, guys.
It's good, and I appreciate you doing that. We wanted to start because LT's a big Brian Kelly guy. Where are you with LSU this year as they open up camp? Replacing first Jaden Daniels, who's going to go on to great things in the NFL. How comfortable is everybody down there and you with Garrett Nussmeier and wherever you're going with the quarterback position?
Yes, I always think, whenever you're going to try to project for a football team or any team, I always look at who has the fewest questions against the most manageable schedule, right? And the odd thing about LSU is if you start to list the questions that you have on this team, you might get 4 or 5 down the list before you start talking about Garrett Nussmeier, which is so odd to say because you're replacing the Heisman Trophy winner. But I think that speaks to how many questions this team has on the defensive side of the ball. As for quarterback, to your question, look, he's a bit of an outlier, right? And a guy that was a blue chip prospect who waited 4 years. He waited his turn to play. And, I think there's a lot of confidence in Garrett because he knows the offense, he knows the personnel, he knows the coaches, they know him. And he's a mature kid who's got tons of ability. I think the big question with Garrett has been purging some of the bad decisions out of his game and taking care of the football. If he does that, look, he'll have plenty of talent around him on the offensive side. As odd as it is to say, guys, replacing the Heisman Trophy winner isn't the biggest question on this team.
Look, I've said it before, as Dunaway said, I'm a big Brian Kelly guy. When he got hired, guys like Ed Orgeron and Les Miles won national championships. I believe he will win a national championship. I went on record last year. I thought they were going to be a team that would win a national championship, at least be in the mix. And as disappointing as the season was, you mentioned Jaden Daniels wins a Heisman. They still win 10 games. But where is the approval rating right now with LSU fans with Brian Kelly?
It's very high. And a big part of that last year, if they just got competent defensive play, not great defensive play, just competent defensive play, they're a playoff team. I mean, they were statistically the best offense in college football. But a big part of the fan confidence in Brian Kelly also has to do with how he's rebuilt his staff and what they're doing in recruiting. Guys, I'm not sure if you paid attention, but LSU has the number one class for 2025 already, with the number one player in the country, the number one quarterback, number one receiver, number one running back. I think that was probably a big question a lot of people had when Kelly came here. Would he be able to recruit and build a staff to recruit to get the type of players you need to win a championship? And because he has seemingly checked and continues to check that box emphatically, there's more, I think, more confidence now than ever that he will be able to get that done the way, as you mentioned, Nick, Les, and Ed all before him did.
Obviously, Kirby had Georgia up with back-to-back national championships, and Nick Saban got him in the SEC championship this past year. But with Nick Saban retiring, there is, whether it's at the top or, near the top, there is a vacuum. There is a little space that is gone in the Southeastern Conference. And then here comes Texas and Oklahoma. And I was comparing this to a land rush back in the old Western days of people trying to plot their flag in the Southeastern Conference. How important of a year is this for LSU football, you think, to sort of reestablish themselves as one of the elite upper-tier programs in the conference with new faces coming in and Nick Saban out of Tuscaloosa?
Well, I think that's a big part of it, is the Nick Saban out, because it feels like it feels like the most giant hurdle, the biggest mountain, that boulder that's been standing in LSU's way has been removed. It's not to completely discredit Kalen DeBoer. I think he's a good coach and he's going to win plenty, but it didn't matter literally who Alabama hired. It wasn't going to be Nick. So the path just isn't as treacherous. How big is this year? I don't know, because it feels like in this current age of college football with the portal, we are talking about a year-to-year premise where, hey, look, Ole Miss is the best example, I think, of this in the conference. Ole Miss sees an opportunity. Look at their schedule. Ole Miss will be 7-0 coming to Baton Rouge in October. But look at their schedule. They will be undefeated coming to October. Coming to LSU. They recognized an opportunity with their schedule, with who they had returning, so they went ham in the portal and said, we're going all in this year. I don't know that I look at LSU this year as an all-in in the way that Ole Miss is for this season, but I think the way Brian Kelly is trying to do it, and we'll see if this will work, guys. I mean, I think it's, in this day and age in college football, remains to be seen. I think he is still trying to build through the high school ranks and supplement his roster through the portal. The real question, though, is if you build through the high school ranks and you go sign all these blue chip prospects, will they stay? Each of the last 2 years. LSU had a 5-star quarterback in Walker Howard, was here for 1 year, transferred to Ole Miss. LSU had a 5-star offensive lineman, Lance Hurd, here for 1 year, transferred to Tennessee. Okay, you want to keep building through the high school ranks. I get it. I get the approach, build and develop. Can you actually do that? Only time will tell.
I'll stick by this. There is a correlation between Alabama not winning a national championship over the last 3 years and not having elite wide receiver play. Back in the day, they had it every single year. I think if John Mechie and Jamison Williams don't go down, I think they probably beat Georgia 3 years ago.
I agree.
But, they haven't had that. And you look at this dynamic offense that LSU had last year, but you're losing both Malik Neighbors, who will be a top 10 guy. Good chance Brian Thomas goes on the back end of the first round. What do they have coming back at wide receiver?
Yeah, LSU doesn't have that problem. It's kind of like we wondered the same thing when they lost Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase and Terrace Marshall, and then this next crop of Kayshon Boutte and the guys you just mentioned, Neighbors and Thomas, come rolling through, and seemingly they've got the next crop. So Kyron Lacey returns. They went in the portal and signed Xavion Thomas from Mississippi State and C.J. Daniels, who's a 1,000-yard receiver at Liberty. And then on top of that, guys, they have this whole just conveyor belt of blue chip talent they've recruited at receiver. Chris Hilton is a former 5-star who's just kind of been caught up in the log jam, right, waiting for his turn. Shelton Sampson was a 5-star a year ago who's going into his sophomore year. They have tall, fast, long, athletic guys that can run, jump, and catch that look the part. It's really just the bigger question is, who's going to emerge, how those reps are going to be divvied up. But there's no shortage of talent there. I didn't even mention Aaron Anderson, guys, who y'all are familiar with, another former 5-star who's on the roster. So they've got plenty of options. It's really just a question of who's going to emerge.
Following up that season-opening loss to Florida State, who eventually went undefeated in the regular season, after that second half, people were like, why in the hell is Harold Perkins playing inside? Why in the hell is he inside? You heard it a million times. And then we get reports he's going to stay on inside. And I said, look, Harold Perkins has got to be comfortable with this because you just mentioned transferring. Harold Perkins, anybody would have taken this guy, but it looks like he is going to stay inside and stay instead of playing on the edge. I take it he's 100% comfortable with this.
I think that's Harold Perkins' decision, and he's the one pushing for it. I don't know that you'd ever hear anybody publicly say that, certainly not coaches, but it doesn't make sense any other way. This is a guy that had never played off the ball in high school, came to LSU, emerged as an elite edge rusher, really wanted to commit himself to being a 3-down linebacker because I think, guys, he's visioning, okay, it's what Devin White was. Well, I don't know that Harold Perkins is ever going to be Devin White. And the only way that you're going to really improve being an off-ball linebacker is by getting game reps and letting that speed slow down. But man, in this league where you have 300-pound offensive linemen and running backs that run 4.3, if you're flat-footed and thinking, you're going to look silly. I think the hope is that, with Blake Baker coming back as the defensive coordinator and coach in linebackers, that maybe he can maximize Harold Perkins there on the inside. But I have my sincere doubts, guys. I look at it like a lot of people do and say, man, you have this elite talent doing this thing that's so important, rushing the passer. Why would you mess with that? But I think it's Harold's target. And listen to Brian Kelly say it. Brian Kelly will say point blank when he talks about Harold. It's part of it is getting him ready for what he wants to be at the next level. And I think he sees himself as a 3-down off-ball linebacker at the next level. And that's how he would maximize value. So I think that's part of the decision and why he's going to do that now.
I did enough local TV that I'm worried that you're sitting in a car. Please tell me the air conditioner is running. I don't want it to overheat, and we've got a casualty on our hand.
The AC is on. I'm good, guys.
Okay, good. Matt, man, I appreciate the time. We look forward to the show. Wherever you get on apps and everything, you can get Matt as well. Go check out all his videos. We do appreciate and really respect what you do down in the state of Louisiana. Thanks for joining us, buddy.
Okay, fellas, be well. Thanks for the invite.
Yeah, that's Matt there. And again, after further review, you can get him on ESPN in Baton Rouge. He's in New Orleans and all over the state of Louisiana, available online. Really knowledgeable guy when it comes to LSU football and just the college football in general. Just good stuff there. He's on the JohnsonRVCenter.com hotline. This hour of the show brought to you by Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken. He's down in that part of the country where they would respect the heck out of a Mississippi Delta recipe tamale. That's what you get right there at Sterling's Place. Great appetizer. You make a meal out of them. You get a tray out of them. Take them to a tailgate when we get back to football season. Just wonderful, wonderful stuff. Southern Fried Chicken, all the great sides. Good place to go on date night as well. Lunch or dinner at champyschicken.com. Trash is on the other side. Stay with us.
Follow John Lunsford on Twitter @JLuntz.
There are so many things I love about Walk-Ons. Authentic, mouth-watering Louisiana cuisine prepared fresh daily from scratch. A great beer selection and TVs everywhere to watch the big game every day of the week. And of course, they've got 2 great locations on Highway 280 and 119 and at Hoover near the Hoover Met. Walk-Ons is also a great place for happy hour, 2 to 6 Monday through Friday with $5 moonshine swirls, $5 house pours, and half-price appetizers. And it's an easy take-home experience for the family as well. Highway 280 and Hoover with Walk-Ons.
Fire damage to your home or business is something you never want to consider. Ryan Brown here from The Next Round. But in the horrible event it happens, Dry Tech is here to help. They respond quickly and will reply to you within 20 minutes when you call 205-637-0143. They're working for you, the customer, not the insurance company. They've got 5 crews ready to go 24/7. Don't call the insurance company first. Call Dry Tech. Just remember this website, mydrytech.com. That is mydrytech.com.
Visit nextroundlive.com today. It's free, unless you haven't paid your internet bill. So go ahead and pay that, and then it's free. Heck, you can pull out your phone and go to nextroundlive.com right now, where you'll find all the free content that you can stomach, unless you haven't paid your phone bill. Then you need to pay that, and then you can enjoy all the free content. NextRoundLive.com is so rewarding that it should be behind a paywall, like Lance's Lock. So in summary, play Lance's Lock. Then you'll have enough money to pay your bills, and go to NextRoundLive.com, where you're always at your happiest, for free.
Did you know that colon cancer is the second leading cause of cancer deaths in America and that it affects men and women equally? If you're older than 45, Rump Shaker encourages you to talk to your doctor about screening options that are available. Colon cancer is preventable, treatable, and beatable, but early detection is the key. For more information, please visit us. Go to rumpshakerinc.org. Also, 6th Annual Rump Shaker 5K coming up Saturday, March 23rd at Regents Field. You can register online, rumpshakerinc.org.
The wait is over. Tonali has arrived. Beautifully distinctive Italian styling and performance. Come test drive the all-new 2024 Alfa Romeo Tonali plug-in hybrid at Alfa Romeo of Birmingham. The all-new Tonali offers best-in-class horsepower and torque, fastest 0 to 60 times in its class, plus best-in-class range with full electric charge. And best of all, qualified Tonali leasees are eligible for up to $7,500 EV tax credit factored into your lease. Hurry down to Alfa Romeo of Birmingham and experience the all-new Tonali.
Tournament time is almost here, but any time is a great time to jump on with MyBookie.ag. When you sign up at MyBookie.ag, use code NEXTROUND for a special sign-on bonus. You can use that bonus right away. Win once with it, it is yours and yours forever. Not like some of the sites that make you win 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times before you keep the bonus. You win once at MyBookie.ag, it is yours forever. Basketball tournaments, NBA, the start of Major League Baseball, NASCAR, and golf. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere. MyBookie.ag, code NEXTROUND.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com, for the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com.
Trash on the table time. LT will be here with us in just a second. EG stepping in. It's a big day.
It is a big day.
For Emily Grace McWhorter. Happy birthday.
Thank you,
Oh, I didn't know that.
I didn't
Happy
either.
birthday.
Thank you.
32.
Yeah, put that backwards.
Dunaway would
Over
put her
there.
at 14 because we had a guest on yesterday that looked, he looked 35 to 40, and Dunaway had him in his early 20s.
I mean, I don't know why you're on me today, but I put him in his late 20s being nice. I had him early 30s in my head, but I was just trying to be nice.
Yeah.
I would not go 14 with you, but 23 seems like a great age.
Wow.
I'm trying to think where I was at 23.
I was still in college.
I think I was too.
Yeah. No, seriously.
I was
Like,
teching for Eli Gold.
I turned 23 in March. And then that fall, I went back for my 6th and final semester.
I turned 23 in December and graduated in August of the next year.
So y'all were doing some victory laps.
Yeah, why would you not? So you guys, I will tell you, you're the complete opposite of most people your age, though. You are what we would call a go-getter.
David, third senior year of college at 23. Me too, brother.
Yep, we
Me
feel
too.
you. I don't. Now, I wouldn't say this to my kids because I got to pay for it, but why rush?
Yeah, no, that's what my parents told me. They're like, do not rush through it. Take
But you
your time.
did.
I didn't mean to. I just came in with some credits and
Those damn A's just started showing
Yeah,
up.
that's the problem. You're supposed to get by in high school. You're not supposed to have these AP classes.
I know.
You're supposed to drop some classes early on too,
I
or
did
just take
drop
one or two.
one class.
Our friends at Storm Restoration Roofing celebrating Emily Grace McWhorter's birthday today, Greg, is by getting on your roof and giving you a free no-cost roof inspection. Listen, all you have to do is call Greg up and he'll take care of you. It's really easy to do. You just go by, you can go by his Facebook page if you want to, and you can look him up, or you can call that number on your screen. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 542-3531, 542-3531. There's a lady that he was telling me about yesterday that he fought for weeks with an insurance company. Insurance company was going to pay 80% to replace her roof. He fought, and finally 100%.
Wow.
Paying all of it. That's how Greg will work for you. He replaces roofs, storm damage, or that free no-cost roof inspection. So many satisfied customers over in our chat room that have used Greg from Pell City Storm Restoration Roofing. He and his lovely wife own the company. 205-542-3531. It is time for Trash Rockstar. Hit the big button.
That didn't upset me. But the bitch-ass hoe
Sorry.
that told me to calm down, what I'd like you to do is apologize instead of being a bitch.
You're calling me sorry, but you're calling me a bitch. So set an example.
I'm sorry. My kids can't hear me calling you a bitch.
Your window's open.
They can't hear me because they're listening to Kids Spot.
LT's Trash is presented by Mortgage Right. Mortgages done the right way.
Still doesn't even seem real, does it?
Oh, it was real. It was really uncomfortable, too.
That's the way it sounds when I used to. There was a show I would watch occasionally called, what was it? It's with Zendaya on HBO.
Euphoria.
Oh,
Euphoria. Yeah, I would occasionally flick that on, and the girls would start talking, and that's all I would hear is that noise right there that I just heard. I was like, I don't understand anything they're talking about.
Did you watch Euphoria?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I like if I'd have known Sydney Sweeney was part of it. Now that I know about Sydney Sweeney, I might have gone back and watched it. But I was begged by Leighton, please don't watch this show because I watch it. Yeah, so I didn't. Did the new year add to your financial uncertainty? Let the experts at Mortgage Right help get your financial house in order. The team of experts can make sure you're prepared for anything 2024 may bring, including freeing up cash for the things you need to get done. Take control today. Visit Mortgage Right at their location, Highway 280. You can apply mortgageright.com/TNR. Call 205-815-9200. NMLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender. Start first. We were talking fruits earlier. I didn't know you could buy, or I guess this has got to be somewhere, obviously not in Alabama, but you can go and buy coconuts, right?
Yeah, like at
we can get them at
Publix?
Publix right now.
Yeah.
Can you really get a coconut at Publix?
Yeah, absolutely.
Not something that I look for, but this man right here confronted a suspect who stole his tricycle. So many things wrong with the story. Outside of a Florida Keys supermarket, wound up at the wrong end of a coconut on Tuesday afternoon.
Okay, but if you're in the Florida Keys, it maybe isn't a kid tricycle. Maybe it's one of those.
Oh, it's a legit tricycle.
Like a little bitty one, or a big one that he would ride on? Yeah.
Wow.
According to the sheriff's office, Mado Quaveda, 59, also bit the victim during the beating at the Big Pine Key, facing multiple charges. Arrest report states that deputies were called to the Winn-Dixie around 3:15 p.m. for a fight in progress. It states the fight ensued after a man confronted Dominguez for stealing the tricycle, which the victim had bought on Amazon for $260.
Oh, that's an
Pretty
investment.
expensive.
But let me tell you, no offense, this is not the tricycle owner, though, right?
No, that's
this is the guy who stole it.
Yeah.
Didn't all of our circuses go out of business?
No, I think they just got rid of the elephant.
The animals are digitized, like they're holograms, like elephants, but they still do the circus.
Okay, but
wait, they really do holograms of the animals?
Well, like because they treated the elephants terribly.
Yeah,
so
no, I get that.
I don't think like it's a feature, but we still have like the elephant walk was very sad. Like if you ever saw that when they came downtown, like it was the saddest thing, walking down the streets of
But
Birmingham.
if you would go to the circus, the one thing that jumped out outside of the ridiculous like light things that were like $100 was the awful elephant shit smell.
Yeah,
and so I guess you don't have to deal with that anymore.
No, it smelled like a circus. Yeah, 100%. I was just going to say. But the big adult tricycles that clowns would ride in the circus, I would imagine when all of our circuses got canceled or whatever happened or went bankrupt, that there were a lot of those type things on. That's the kind of tricycle I was picturing, one of the big ones that the clowns would ride around in on at Ringling Brothers.
Well, Dominguez Quevedo became, quote, violent soon after, wielding a coconut, striking the victim in the head repeatedly. Also bit the victim several times. Deputies said the victim was hurt in the attack, but not seriously. Dominguez belligerence continued as deputies tried to get him into custody. According to the report, deputies said he purposely became limp.
That's what you're supposed to do in those situations.
Well, I mean, dead weight
with the deputy, of course.
Dead weight
is awful.
Awful, and it doesn't matter how small somebody is. Picking up dead weight is nearly impossible. He also spit in the deputy's face, which is never good.
So he attacked the tricycle owner with a coconut, or was he attacked by the coconut?
He confronted the guy that stole the tricycle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So is that armed robbery, even though it's a coconut?
I don't think I don't know if it's even considered attack with a deadly weapon or assault with a deadly weapon.
He looks like a mix between Mike from Breaking Bad and what's Machete?
Danny Trejo?
Danny Trejo.
That's not a good look.
I didn't say it was. He looks like a good-looking Mike from Breaking Bad.
There's also a character that is in Yellowstone, one of the deputies.
Oh, yeah.
And he was also in...
You're spot on there.
Yeah. So I didn't realize the Phillies had $1 hot dog night.
Yes.
Did you know that?
I knew about this, and I know where this is going.
Oh, guess what? They ain't got to know more. For more than a quarter of a century. Here's what I'm going to read this verbatim because this is one of the cheesiest written articles of all time.
Okay.
So and this is from the AP, for more than a quarter of a century, Philly fans have considered Dollar Hot Dog Night among the best ballpark promotions, but the team has now decided it was the worst, spelled W-U-R-S-T.
See, there's like a worst. Bratwurst. Get it? Don't know what you got to think about it.
No, I got it.
Okay.
I got it.
Now,
You'll laugh later.
Phillies officially ended the popular promotion on Thursday, replaced Dollar Dogs on select dates with a 2-for-1 at 2 April games at Citizens Bank Park. Statement for the team said the change was made, quote, based on the organization's ongoing commitment to provide positive experience for all fans in attendance. What wasn't a positive about Dollar Dog Nights, ? Armed with projectile frankfurters, some unruly Phillies fans began chunking their favorite Hatfield meat during the game last year, and the dogs soared like cans of corn throughout the stands and onto the field. The demand for the discount dogs also led to clogged lanes, if not arteries, on the concourse, and the cramped spaces led to security and safety concerns. On April 11th game last season, it turned into a Philly food fight when fans, largely good-naturedly, tossed their ballpark franks in several sections, leading to multiple ejections.
I threw my hot dog at your face, good-naturedly, though. That was good-naturedly.
No, like Dollar Beer, I can see it getting out of hand.
But Dollar Hot Dogs?
Yeah, but see, Dollar Hot Dogs bring a certain clientele out who are going to drink a lot of beer and eat their Dollar Hot Dogs. And
you're right. I'll give you an example.
It gets a little bit more ruckus.
This is pre-you.
Okay.
You'll never even probably know this name, but there was a landmark on Highway 280. It was one of the great institutions of Birmingham, Superior Grill. Erected in 1995, went out of business 2 years ago this summer. But they used to do a thing. It was a free buffet. I mean, it was an incredible thing, but people took advantage of it. You had a bunch of riff-raffs. I'll call them rift rats. They would come out, and they would get like plate after plate of food, and they would drink water, and they wouldn't even tip the bartenders. And then that led to some interesting altercations. So they finally had to get rid of the buffet that was created for nice people that were coming by after work to have a drink and get a little food in them.
That's right. So the free stuff, sometimes
people take advantage of it.
That's
can't have good
Get
things.
a little alcohol involved, and hot dogs will go flying, I guess.
Police in Russia questioning a man who drunkenly rode a horse into an apartment building at 3 a.m. You think you've got problems in your apartment building with noise? Imagine this horse coming in at 3 a.m. The reason he did it, he presented it to his wife to make amends after a fight.
Wow.
Is this a good present if you get sideways? If Mikey brought you a horse, you don't want it?
I mean, I love animals, so I might be a little excited, but then I realized I have a horse in my apartment, and that would not go over well.
Now, the bizarre scene included large piles of feces that the animal left in the building's entranceway, which, by the way, neighbors not happy about that, I'm sure. And the man's many failed attempts to climb on the horse. At one point, the man apparently thought better of trying to fit the horse into the elevator to get it to his fifth-floor apartment, and he rode it up the stairs instead.
Oh, my goodness.
Didn't Schwarzenegger do it in True Lies?
Yeah. He's lucky to die. Like, I don't think he's probably a good horseback rider, and you fall on those stairs.
She's got to make up with me. She's got to. We had a little fight.
Local media identifies a man as 33-year-old Sergei Antipov. Reports he took the horse from a farm where he used to work, hoping to show up as, quote, Prince Charming and make up with his wife. Now, she recorded the confused-looking horse, which she quipped was a gift for International Women's Day on March 8th inside of their tiny apartment. Quote, here's a horse standing in my house. She said, thankfully, the horse is now back at the farm.
You sure this wasn't like a language barrier misunderstanding and she was like, I don't like you hanging out with the horses at 3 a.m. and he misunderstood what she said?
I'll bring it to you. I get
that.
She still has a box television in her room, too.
You're going to be running around at 3 a.m. with all those horses?
Yeah. And he was a little enamored. I didn't catch it all.
I brought one home to you.
Yeah. A white one.
How do they get the horse back down? That's what I want to know.
Well, in Animal House, they cut it in half.
Oh.
Yeah. But it was already dead. Had a major heart attack.
Yeah.
From a
Rockstar.
gunshot, right?
Yeah, well, they fired a gun, and that's what gave it the heart attack.
Pin on your uniform.
Rockstar, I think you're doing this on purpose now. I mean, first it was yoga, then it was bowling, and now we've got nude cruise ship.
Well, no, what interested me was this guy said, I went on a nude cruise ship, ask me anything on Reddit, where you do Reddit users used to like, I'm Brad Pitt, and he has a picture that's actually Brad Pitt, ask me anything. And so this guy said, I went on a nude cruise, ask me anything. And so he just laid out like what it's like to be on a nude cruise.
There you go. Writing anonymously on Reddit, the man, aged 67, by the way, invited other users to, quote, ask me anything about the experience.
That is a lot of people.
Wow.
My God. He booked the cruise via the Texas-based travel company Bare Necessities, which has been operating clothing-optional ship charters since 1990. The only thing worse than a cruise is a naked cruise.
Yeah. Agreed.
Because say worst or best. I can't.
Because the free buffets are bad enough as it is, man. I don't like
dollar hot dog night.
I don't like buffets.
Now, the unnamed man said he was on the 2,000-passenger Carnival cruise liner with his 61-year-old wife for a 7-day round trip from Tampa with stops in Mexico and Honduras on the way. Many commenters were intrigued about the crowd and what they were like on the nude cruise, and the man gave his honest verdict. He wrote, unquestionably, there were relatively few younger couples, and it definitely skewed older. Not surprised.
No,
some people also quizzed the man on the attractiveness levels aboard the ship, and the man replied, quote, the cruises seem to be for people who like to eat and lie around, so there were a, quote, lot of large people.
Yeah.
I can believe this as well.
Well, I mean, I told you guys about my honeymoon. The people that were naked on the nude beach are usually...
Yeah, the topless beaches are not the models.
No,
it's just the
not exactly where not the naked people you really wanted to see.
Like, again, I want nothing to do with anything naked. I said that naked belonged, shower, bed. That's virtually it. He said, though, that 20% were attractive. I find that hard to believe.
20%?
He said 20%. Yeah. Now, this is from a 67-year-old dude, so that might be skewed a little bit. He said 20% were average and 60% were, quote, unattractive. Ugh. Many Reddit users were worried about people taking sneaky photos and videos of people in the buff, but the man put these concerns to bed by stating that everyone was, quote, very respectful. He explained, everyone knows you can't take pictures of other people. You can't be like at a regular cruise, like taking a picture of some chick that's laying out anyway.
Well, you can't do a family pic on this either. Like,
why do you say that?
Oh, let me tell you. My honeymoon back, clothing optional on one side, but on the normal beach, there were some folks from South America. And, you know, a lot of places in the world,
right?
Women swim topless. It's no big deal to them. And there was a couple, I think they were from Brazil, maybe. But it was father, wife, college-age daughter, high school daughter. All three women were topless. And the college-age daughter had boyfriend with her on the trip.
Wow.
And they were Dad was taking photos of, like you would if you were in your swimsuit.
No, that's, I mean,
you got to remember those things.
And that's why they call
it's no big deal to them.
European pools, like if you're in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
And I've been to a few of those, and it takes a minute to get used to, but after about an hour, it's not that big of a deal. Now, I think it's a bigger deal if you've got completely nude people running around.
But I remember sitting there with Maggie going, oh my God. I said, I cannot imagine, because we didn't have kids at the time. We just got married.
Has she ever heard your story?
I'll tell her another
Wait,
time.
no, I've heard.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I'm sitting there with Maggie, and I'm like, there's no way if we ever had a daughter that this would ever be. I don't care where in the world we'll live. There's no way. I wouldn't even be comfortable them just sitting there in swimsuits, me taking pictures of them.
That would be like, it's one thing if you ever bump into your daughter at a bar, but imagine being at something like this and your daughter is topless. My God. Now, on the footwear front, if you're wondering, shoes were required walking around the boat, although some folks went barefoot nonetheless. And at dinner, everybody was in flip-flops or sandals. I bet that was an incredible look, right? Yeah. The only thing good about this, I know you're a professional packer, and I suck at packing, is you really wouldn't have to take anything.
Yeah.
But you wonder if you get to your cabin, do you put clothes on to sleep?
And when you go on excursions, like you still need your water shoes, I guess, and you can't hit Honduras up in the nude. I would assume.
You're right. You're right. You might immediately get arrested.
I'm a good public relations guy. For this photo, Rockstar, they bring probably as many attractive people as they can closer to the camera. I just wonder what the people way in the very, very back look like.
Dan right here. You got Charlie Daniels.
Yeah. Oh, no.
but near the ship's
Look
deck,
at the chick with the lanyard on.
Oh, you had to have the lanyard on. What pool you're in?
Well, she's front and center, on the way, so I think your theory has been thrown out right there.
All right, that's our trash today, brought to you by our friends at Mortgage Right.
Hey, are you a veteran looking for a VA loan? Mortgage Right has been advocating for veterans since their company began. As a veteran-owned, operated company committed to your well-being, they can help you find the best terms available, guide you through every step of the process. For active military or veterans, VA loans can be a great way to help purchase a home. Let Mortgage Right take care of everything from the pre-qualifying process through closing. Their mortgage experts will help you find the best rate and loan program available. Visit the location on Highway 280 in Birmingham. Apply online, mortgageright.com/TNR. Call 205-815-9200, NMLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender.
Hey, do you have a favorite birthday cake?
Red velvet.
Red velvet.
That's
that used to be
my
mine, too.
You know it's dyed, right?
Yeah. I don't like chocolate cake, but I like red velvet cake.
But it's mostly
so good.
It's like chocolate cake.
It's cocoa powder, a little dash of it.
Yeah, my
so good.
late old man was his favorite.
That was mine for a long time. No nuts on the icing, but it's the icing I like.
Yeah, the cream cheese.
The cream cheese icing.
I do like the strawberry cake, though.
Yeah.
You like strawberry?
I don't seek it out, but I don't mind it.
Yeah.
It's like the only option.
I switched to the strawberry cake when we had a local place that started really doing a good job on the strawberry cake. So I flipped from red velvet to strawberry. I don't do cakes anymore.
Have we decided what we're doing yet?
I don't know.
Are we being surprised this evening?
No. So next week is TPC Sawgrass, and so we celebrate my birthday there every year because it's around the same time. So we'll go to the tournament as a family, and then I'll go home this weekend and eat some cake, I guess.
So we got to figure something out tonight, right?
I know. Well, I think Mikey has plans.
Okay, so Mikey is in town.
Here.
Okay, that's good. Yeah. That's good.
I know he has plans. I just am not aware of what they are.
Oh, and they don't include us, apparently.
I guess not.
Yeah, I guess
that
not.
Well,
happy birthday.
I don't blame you.
I know, that's true.
You're lucky. You're lucky that usually we have confetti guns that go off or something else in here that I think we've outlawed up here.
Yeah, too messy.
Yeah, it gets too messy.
But you have to pick them up individually.
Yeah. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Yeah, very good. EG with us on Trash there. One more segment to go on the live show. Don't forget, we're back with you always tomorrow, and a new Respect the Process out a little bit later on today. So you get the little Kelly and Chris talking a little Alabama athletics, part of Disrupt the Media. Roll Tide Pods and War Damn Pods over there. Disrupt the Media. Go like and subscribe. We're back in a moment.
Follow The Next Round on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Next Round Live.
You got to look your best to play your best, and our friends at Bandwagon can help your team find the perfect uniforms for that upcoming season. Bandwagon is with you every step of the way, from developing your team logo design to choosing from their multitude of samples. You name the sport, they can make it happen. To get your uniform journey started, you can shoot them a message on any social media platform or check out their website, bandwagonsports.com. That's bandwagonsports.com. Next Round listeners, it's time to jump on the bandwagon.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Hello, sports fans. The Alabama State Senate will soon decide if you get the right to vote on a lottery, casinos, and sports betting. But they need to hear from you. Did you know Alabama is one of only 12 states where you can't legally bet on sports? House Bill 151 allows you to choose whether you can place a bet on the big game this weekend. Call your state senator today and tell them to vote yes on the lottery and gaming bill. For more information, go to sportsbettingalliance.org. Paid for by Sports Betting Alliance. sportsbettingalliance.org.
Let them vote. Let them vote. Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
Every day, someone is ridiculed and mocked for the clothing they chose to wear. It's a harsh reality we all must face. But you have the chance to change all of that with one visit to nextround.store. For just a few minutes of browsing, you will observe so many clothing options, from hats to hoodies to t-shirts. Please, for yourself or someone you love, go to nextround.store and embrace the warmth of true attire.
Our friends at Gutter Cap bring us the last segment of the day that starts with cut number 1 rock star Rick Barnes addressing his team in the locker room. And our Gutter Cap moment of the day. Tennessee wins the SEC regular season championship. How long had it been?
It had been first in 6 years.
6 years. Was that a shared one? Because it seemed like it was even longer since they had an outright one. It surprised me, whatever the number was, but 6 years for where Tennessee's been is even a long one. Here's Rick Barnes afterwards in the locker room from our friends at Tennessee Athletics.
Coach is bad at school. Hey, I'm glad we did this. Here's got to understand. I want to play on Monday. That's Saturday.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
That's what we talked about, right?
Yeah.
But now you guys know how hard it is to do what we're talking about. We want to do. It's a big deal. Proud of all you guys, man. That's a great job. They're a good basketball team. It was a slugfest, and hey, again, our defense got it done. I'm telling you, our defense got it done. Just a great job, man. SEC champions.
What a motivator.
I'm buying in. Like, I know there hasn't been success. He's gotten to a Sweet 16 in Knoxville, and that's been it. But I am buying into this team. I can't believe right now they're 13-1. You're getting pretty good value out of Tennessee.
And they will be a #1 seed in the latest bracketology. They are trending ahead of Arizona now. Arizona, I think, plays UCLA tonight, so the numbers can change as you go down there. But they're really good in the net, and that they'll do in the NCAA. I do think they'll end up being an NCAA #1 seed, especially if they get Kentucky, if they beat Kentucky Saturday at home.
Yeah, look, I think they're better than Arizona. I mean, for what that's worth, we'll see what happens here. But I think this Tennessee team, how much fallout is there? Obviously, nothing's going to happen to Rick Barnes. He's going to retire when he wants to retire. But how much pressure is on Rick Barnes this year to take this team deep?
Well, he's one of those guys that's got the reputation, right? That he has a good regular season and then falls apart in the tournament. I mean, you throw a couple of coaches like that in there. You can throw the Purdue coach in there like that.
Matt Painter is one of those guys. Bill Self was one of those guys till he finally got over the hump and won one.
Exactly right. And there are certain coaches that have that reputation that maybe they're good in the regular season. They can get you to the Sweet 16, maybe to the Elite Eight, but they don't do a lot of Final Fours and they don't win a lot of championships. So he's got to get over that little reputation that he has all the way back to Texas. So I'd say there's some pressure on him.
Yeah, I think there's more pressure on Matt Painter, and I think that's more of just the body of the Big Ten, because before we were saying the Big 12 and the SEC second best team or second best league in college basketball, there was a long time the Big Ten was right there in that conversation. And do you realize the last time the Big Ten won a national championship?
Was it Mateen Cleaves?
It was. And so as good as Tom Izzo has been, and there's a chance that Michigan State doesn't make this tournament now. They did eke out a win last night over Northwestern, but it's hard to believe a Big Ten team has not won a national championship since 2000.
Yeah, 2000. That's a long time ago. Tell us about Gutter Cap, and we'll end the show with a little NFL conversation.
Yeah, basketball has its madness in March, but homeowners who clean their gutters have it all year long. Eliminate your gutter cleaning madness forever with Gutter Cap. Call my good friend Chris Stewart now, 205-823-2212. A-plus rated with a Better Business Bureau for 2 decades and on the board of directors. Gutter Cap is a patented aluminum cover system that fits over most existing gutters. It eliminates that dangerous job of getting on a ladder and cleaning out the gutters. Right now, 45% off the retail price for March Madness. Call 205-823-2212 or guttercapbirmingham.com. Cap it, don't snap it. It's Gutter Cap.
Details coming about Mike Evans' deal with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, that $29 million deal that could eventually lead to him being a Buck for life. One of the caveats that he was promised by the organization, he wasn't going to sign it unless what?
He wasn't going to sign it unless Baker Mayfield's coming back.
Unless they made a good faith effort to try Baker Mayfield to try to get him back from free agency. And many people think that the Buccaneers made such a promise to Mike Evans that they will maybe even overpay for Baker Mayfield to get him back at quarterback.
Now, he's one of those guys that your Bucs loved internally. I know when he played for the Rams 2 years ago, he ended up going 2-2 as a starting quarterback. Everybody in that organization liked him. It's been a nice comeback story. This could have gone the way of Johnny Manziel for Baker Mayfield.
I really thought that at times that Mike Evans and Tom Brady didn't get along. For that to come out, Mike Evans in his contract negotiation said, I'll sign this and not go free agent if you promise me you'll make a good faith effort to get Baker Mayfield back. That says a lot, right?
Yeah, look, and I think Mike Evans obviously respected Tom Brady, but there could have been, when it came to the Bucs, although you guys won a championship, it was all focused on Tom Brady.
Yeah, and really it was that defense that year.
Yeah, and I think that probably wears some players out.
Apparently the Falcons and Kirk Cousins, a real deal, according to Diana Rossini of The Athletic. And she also makes a point that not only is she hearing that there's real interest there for the 35-year-old Viking coming off of the injury last year, Cousins' wife from Atlanta, and there is a belief that he will choose the Falcons over other suitors for that reason.
Yep, and I think that's gonna happen. I heard from an insider this morning, watching an interview, that Kirk Cousins is leading Atlanta or leaning Atlanta right now. I know Forster doesn't love this, but that is such an upgrade at quarterback over what you guys had before.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, that's a pretty low bar, but yeah.
It is a low bar. But I do think with this roster, Kirk Cousins can not only win the South, I think they can make a little noise in the postseason, because you look at the NFC, San Francisco, but outside of San Francisco, you've got wide open territory.
They've got everything in Atlanta except a quarterback. We'll see what happens. And sort of sad news for me, I don't see the show a ton, but it's on in our studio all the time. But word comes out yesterday, they're moving Good Morning Football from New York to Los Angeles, and there's a chance that 0 members of the current people that are on the show will be on the show anymore.
Why not make up a new show then?
Cost-cutting measures to move it to the L.A. studios, which is connected to SoFi, and shut down the New York studios. All those guys have kids and families, and they're from the East Coast, and there's a debate on. They've all been offered to go to L.A., but they don't know if any of them will take it.
Well, I wonder what the ratings are that Jamie Erdahl takes over from Kay Adams, and Nate Burleson leaves the show. I like Kyle. I like Peter. I think they do a good job with it. That's really sad, but I was going to say there's no way those guys Because what time would you have to do the show if you do it at the same time?
They're going to cut the show to only 2 hours, and it would be 8 to 10 Eastern would be the live version.
Okay, so it's still 5 to 7.
5 to 7 in the morning.
Damn, boy, that is early. And TV, you know this.
You got to get there and get dressed.
You got to look good.
Yep.
So what is your wake-up call, 3 a.m.?
Yeah. Oh, you got to be there by 3. I'm
yeah, you
sure.
have no life.
Yeah,
no life.
That sucks. So they're thinking about not doing that. By the way, the NFL trying to sell off the NFL Network.
The NFL Network, to me, I mean, it's a go-to for the combines. I did like Good Morning Football. Occasionally when they have those games on, preseason games especially, but I don't watch the NFL Network a ton.
Yeah, they're trying to sell it off, and they've already cut some of the staff, and that's after the NFL signed that $110 billion media deal. It's hard to imagine they're laying people off from the NFL Network. Final thing here. The Masters is coming up April the 11th. And I've got friends who have done this. They've even got a bigger package now. The Taste of the Masters. You can go to masters.com and order this. This is the classic kit. Serves 4 to 6, which means it serves 2 in my house because I'll eat a ton of it. The pimento cheese, the plain potato chips, moon pies. You get the souvenir cups and the coasters and all of that. But then the one that serves 12 to 14, you get more stuff. You get the pimento cheese. You get egg salad. You get the pork, barbecue pork, barbecue chips, plain chips, cookies that go with that. Georgia pecan caramel popcorn is in on that, and then all the souvenir stuff. I'm so concerned, though, on shipments like that. Like, I would love a good pimento cheese sandwich. I've never really tried egg salad, but I would like to at the Masters. But if you're shipping it to me, that would worry me a little bit.
Well, let me ask you this. Is this 365 days a year or just around the Masters?
I think it's just this time of year.
Because I was going to say this would be a great Christmas gift.
Yeah, check it out and see if it is. Masters.com for details. That large kit's $179.95 there, and you get all the souvenir cups and everything. I have friends who have done it, John and Lauren, my buddies, and they've done it before and absolutely knocked it out of the park.
Sure, it's good, but I bet the pimento cheese is better when you're in Augusta. Like if I gave you a blind taste test of a pimento cheese sandwich from Chicken Salad Chick and one that comes through the mail, do you think you can tell much of a difference?
Probably the one that was made the most fresh would probably be the better one, right? The one that didn't come in the mail. But check it out, Masters.com, April 11th for the tournament. A little taste of the Masters for you there. We're back with you tomorrow, 9 a.m. Central Time, starting the show off with O's the Mentalist. Until next time, God bless you, and God bless America.